The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Oh, we no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where we're going to bring you the news and reviews, of course, of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, still not joined by my co-host and brewologist, Steph Hefner.
Yeah, we miss you, Steph. You need to get back. It's going to be like a month.
Yeah, this
Our
is
listeners are
weird.
going to go a month without hearing Steph.
They're going to forget what your voice sounds like.
Oh, that's just not right.
But as long as you get better and you can walk,
If they do, though, one of you can just pretend to do our voice, and it could be like one of those
yeah.
things.
I kind of thought about...
Steph is here. You know,
I thought about that on the drive here. I was thinking I should pretend to be Steph. Oh, which also reminds me, let's do a production meeting real quick right here live on the episode.
Okay.
Do we want to do her Know Your Beers? Because she has one prepared for this
let's do it.
episode.
Let's do
All
it.
right. Do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?
why don't we split it?
All right, we're going to
Trevor,
split
you
it.
wanna do it?
Absolutely.
All right, there we go.
We're gonna fly in blind. All right, cool. So there will still be a Know Your Beers this episode.
Yay!
But yes, please get better, Steph. We miss you.
Yes, and of course, that was the demented and fermented.
Oh yeah, my name's Wayne Baker.
Yeah, that's that guy. And you've already heard his voice, and chances are, if you've been a fan of the podcast for at least 5 episodes before this, you know that we have with us
Trevor Hayward from Evil Genius Beer Company.
Trevor, thank you for having us out here, and thank you for coming to the show, man.
No worries at all. Always happy to be here. Am I still up there in terms of how many times we've been on the show?
I think
You've got to
still,
be.
yeah.
You've got to be. Although we've done a bunch with Stickman now.
Yes.
But
Well,
I
fuck
don't,
those guys. No, I'm just kidding.
But they're probably still only about half the episodes they've been represented. If you count, and somebody asked me, I think on Facebook a little while ago, how many times you guys have been on the show. And I counted it. I could look it up now, but I don't feel like it. But I counted, including Fest, where we've had John on or other reps from you guys, and it was at least 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a guy playing video games here in the corner earlier. It was like, hey, what are you setting up for? So I told him a podcast. It was like, we've had you guys on God knows how many times at this point. It was like, it's probably over a dozen.
Yep.
So I think that's the safe number to start with.
So this is lucky 13?
I guess so.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we're probably rolling with that. Somebody's going to fact check us.
Sure.
But what I find interesting is both of our parties are down a person tonight.
This is true.
Yeah, where's Luke?
Well, he was golfing this afternoon.
Oh,
but,
no.
some of us have to do work here, guys. And I guess that's me today.
Yeah.
Now, he might be popping in. I'm not certain
cool.
if he's
Good. I
going to
hope
be
so.
here in a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
But we did, we set up an extra mic in case Garrett said he might stop by, though I know he's got an early curfew tonight, he said, so we'll see. But we have an extra mic, so if any other party members want to join us at some point, we can have somebody jump in.
Yeah, stay tuned. This is a fast and loose episode.
Yeah, but let's do a little housekeeping.
Yeah, of course. You know where to find us right now, but if you don't, and this is your first time, hey, welcome. You should probably head over to beerbusterspodcast.com. Check out all the articles and things we have over there. You should also go on Instagram and Twitter to @BeerBusters, or if you're still using that Facebook thing, Beer Busters Podcast, you can give us a call, leave us a message, send us a text to 805-991-BEER, which is 805-991-2337. And if you're really feeling the love, don't forget Patreon.
Don't forget Patreon.
Patreon.com/BeerBusters.
Please don't forget Patreon.
You get all sorts of goodies. You get access to Last Call, which I'm sure is always a lot of fun. But I can only imagine what's going to happen when we're a little tuned up on some Evil Genius beers, because Lord knows we all like to have fun.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. The look in your eyes was like, what's going to happen to me?
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you know what's going to happen.
And if you want to show your support for the show, but you can't afford to donate on Patreon, we totally get it, and that's cool. But what you can do, it's easy and free, is to rate and review us on your podcast app of choice. We prefer 5 stars, but, be honest. It really helps, though.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's another podcast I listen to. It's a Dungeons & Dragons podcast, but of course I do. Whenever they ask people to rate and review their podcast, they also say, please rate and review any other podcast you listen to.
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
actually super helpful for any podcast.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That is the currency of podcasts. So write a review, click 5 stars or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, put us in front of some other ear holes that are on the internet. Normally, we would do the news here, but much like last episode, we are continuing our series of phone interviews.
I know, we're all professional and shit.
This one's really cool. It's such an awesome concept, and I didn't honestly think when I read about it that it would work, but they've been in existence for 5 years at this point. It's a really cool project out of Venice Beach, California, which is a section of Los Angeles. It's a place called House Beer. And we had the CEO on, Brendan Sindel, for a really cool conversation, and just a little eye into what they're doing and their take on the beer industry. So here you go. Enjoy. So here we are. Wayne and I are lucky enough to have another West Coast brewery joining us on the phone. I'm liking this series. I hope we get to keep doing something like this.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper to talk to breweries across the country on the phone than it is to actually go there.
Yes, but I'm sure going there would be...
It'd be a lot more fun.
Of course. Especially this one. I've been to this general area a couple of years ago for a wedding. We're talking Venice Beach, California, which is in, of course, Los Angeles. And when I was there, this place did not exist from what I understand, and now I guess this just means I have to go back. We are talking to, from Venice Beach, Brendan Sindel, who is the CEO of House Beer. Brendan, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Now, I guess I kind of have to start with first thing, Venice Beach. Obviously, it's a lovely area. It's well documented how beautiful it is out there. There's, a major video game that has spoofed the Venice Boardwalk. Now, are you guys on the Venice Boardwalk?
We are not, fortunately. We are 2 blocks away.
Okay, that gives you enough leeway to get away from all the crowds.
That's probably a good buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you were on the boardwalk, I would wonder how you had time to step away to have us call you.
Yeah, right. We wouldn't have much time to do anything except for stare out the window and people watch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I find very, very, very interesting about House, as I'm sure many people do, is the way you approach your input to the craft beer community. So most breweries are known for having a multitude of beers. They have different styles that are on. Now, House dedicates themselves to one beer, and your slogan is one beer done right. So why only one style?
Only one style from, I guess, a business proposition. I think that, it makes us stand out and it's distinct. When there's now over 7,000 breweries, I think we can tote being as one of the only ones that only do one beer. And it also segues into the reason why we started House was we weren't craft beer drinkers. We were lager drinkers. So we wanted to set out and dedicate ourselves just to creating a better version of what we were used to drinking.
Would you want to say what lager you were drinking before you started?
I started with the cheapest lagers I could get my hands on in college.
So Milwaukee's best
yeah.
ice, natural ice.
Yeah. You get some money with your friends and you try to go buy as many 30 packs as possible. And then I got my first, graduated, got my first job and was drinking the mainstream domestic beers, primarily out of habit. Actually only out of habit. And that's when I had the aha moment saying, hey, I could do a younger, fresher, cooler, better version of this. And that's when House Beer was born.
So I think before we go on a little further about where it came from, we should talk about exactly what House Beer is. So it is a lager, a premium crafted lager.
Yeah. So
you describe a little bit like the beer itself.
Yeah, definitely. So it's actually an international pale lager.
Okay.
It's not an American lager. So you're definitely going to get more body, more flavor profile than you would your Bud Miller Coors of the world. I would say it's more similar to an import than it is a domestic beer. And then it also has a nice light hop aroma and a little bit of bitterness to it. We use Czech Saaz and German Tet. And you definitely get that flavor. So it's nice, it's refreshing, it's crisp. It's also very dry, too. So the terminal gravity on it is about 1.8 Plato. So there's not much left on the palate after you have a sip or a few.
Interesting. And I think it's interesting that you're trying to target this sort of middle ground between the really crazy craft beers that are either like super high in alcohol or have crazy flavors and they're things that you can't drink a whole lot of, somewhere between that and, your Bud Lights, your macro beers. That's sort of an interesting area to approach. But I also think even like craft beer enthusiasts, and Dan and myself and our partner Steph, who unfortunately couldn't be with us for this interview, but we've been drinking craft beer for years now and talking about it into microphones for a while. But I think we see the community turning more back towards those sorts of traditional styles. I think lagers are becoming a lot more popular. And so I think it's very smart I think timing wise, to be introducing this sort of a beer into the market.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We like to think that we were a little ahead of the curve before, obviously Founders and their Solid Gold that just came out this year, and Firestone Walker's Lager, and other craft breweries as well are launching, a lager. And we did it. Obviously, we're not the first lager, but in the craft segment, aside from Samuel Adams a few decades back, in this recent resurgence of craft beer, I would like to think we're one of the first.
Now, when did you guys start brewing your One Beer Done Right?
We launched in 2014, our first commercial brew, and our first sale to an account was 2014.
Ooh, you might have been around when I was out there then. I visited the LA area August of 2014.
Okay, yeah, we were definitely around. We were still shoved out of the back of a van.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. So you started by selling your beer out of a van. Was this all completely legal at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
100% legal. We had our first, CapEx purchase was a Ford Ecoline van that said house beer on it, and we parked it in front of my apartment every single night, to the point where someone actually put one of those, what was it, like the smart car that was white. They parked it behind our van, and they took a bunch of printer paper, and I haven't told the story to anyone.
No.
And
Exclusive.
They decaled their smart car with the same kind of script our house is in, and it said apartment beer as a way to make fun of us and what we were doing back in 2014.
Wow.
I'm kind of a little irritated then, but looking back on it, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, jokes on them at this point.
Although it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Only in hindsight, of course. Now, since selling out of a van, you now distribute into 14 markets, right?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, right around there, I believe. Yeah, major metropolitan cities. Oh yeah, 12 of them.
How far east do you go?
That's what I was getting to.
Dan and I are sitting here right now in Philadelphia. How far do we have to go to find your beer?
New York and Chicago.
Okay, New York's
All right,
not too bad.
We can do New York.
Yeah. Okay, cool. A lot of our listeners are from a similar area, so.
Charleston, South Carolina, Nashville, Miami. So a little different strategy than also, majority of the craft guys out there as well in terms of the markets we select. And our business model allows us to do that.
Well, I'd like to suggest Philadelphia for your next one. Philly knows how to drink. We do like beer.
Okay, we can do that.
All right, cool.
Put it on the list. So at your actual location, do you guys have a retail location? Do you have I don't want to say a tasting room? You guys only make one beer, or is it purely production and distribution?
No, it's a headquarters event. I guess you could say kind of tasting room down here in Venice, and then we don't distribute out of here at all. That answers your question. We now are not selling out of the back of a van, so we have major distribution partners in every market we're in. Fortunately, because that was a hassle.
It's a tough to get your beer on the shelves with so many other beers out there.
Oh yeah, it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Especially if I would imagine retailers when you're trying to sell to the account look at you kind of weird if you say we only have the one style.
It is. Sometimes you walk in, they're like, all right, what else? What else do you got? And then other times they're like, oh, thank God you're not going to waste an hour of my time going through everything that you have.
Yeah,
I'm sure some people appreciate that. You could always hit them with your beer reminds me of the Ron Swanson quote: "Don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing."
Yeah. What else do you have? Well, you can order in bottles if you don't want cans.
Right.
That you want draft. So there you go. That's all we got.
In a way, it's like an added simplicity to it. It's like this is what you get, and that's it. You're not pulling any punches. This is our beer, and now you can add too that it's an award-winning beer, right?
Yeah. So prior to launching, we before still figuring out the whole beer thing and how to start a company. We entered it into a homebrew club competition. and it was part of the Maltose Falcons. They tote themselves as America's oldest homebrew club. They're out of Los Angeles, and they have their major competition once a year called the Mayfair Competition, and we put the beer in that we like best after brewing 6, 7, 8 different, styles of lager, and we won. So that was when we knew we were kind of on to something. Now every time, we set out to GABF and World Beer Cup, our goal is to win one of those, and we've gotten into medal contention every single time the past 4 years. So, we strive to make, the best lager we possibly can.
With all the beers that are sent to the World Beer Cup and GABF, to even get into medal contention is still no small feat in and of itself.
Yeah, it's we're proud of it. But at the same time, very competitive, and if we're only doing one thing, we better win. So that's at least my motto, and that's what keeps us going. So that's what we're striving for.
I have a two-part question. One is, aside from yourself, how many other people are involved in the company now, and how many people sort of founded it? And two, of those, how did you guys, you say you weren't really a big craft beer drinker, before all of this. How did you go about formulating the recipe and, taking on a brewer? Any of your founders brewers, or did you hire someone on? How did that work?
Yeah, so the beginning, it was finding like a friend of a friend who was a home brewer. And that's how we came up with, our recipe. And it's at this point now where it's myself, and I now know more about beer and brewing beer than I ever thought I would, and working with our brewery to every single brew to make sure it's perfect. Staring at a lot of Excel spreadsheets to make sure that it's consistent every single brew, and measuring stuff on mass spectrometer so there's no sulfur or diacetyl, and making sure the canning line's working so there's no dissolved oxygen in the beer. A lot of things can go wrong with a lager, obviously. Not much flavor to it, so you can't hide or mask anything. So I've learned a lot in the past 4 years, and in doing so, I've actually grown to appreciate and like craft beer far more than I thought I would, which is pretty funny. So I went from not drinking any craft beer to just starting a company that only makes one lager to now enjoying and respecting a lot of the craft beers out there. And the second part of your question, there are a whopping 8 of us in the company.
Nice to keep it, small and manageable.
There's 3 or 4 depending on how you count
for us
in hours. So
I like what you said about learning more than you would know about craft beer, more than you think that you would. Lord knows we started this 5 years ago. I never thought I would know anything about craft beer compared to what I know now. What the biggest thing I had to learn was that when it comes to brewing, like you said, there's a lot of things that go wrong. I like to cook, and I used to think that brewing was like cooking, where you can just kind of freehand it and, eye it up a little bit, throw in a certain amount of hops. If you don't like it, maybe just add a tiny bit more. But there's so much science involved in it, which I think is the biggest thing you need to learn.
Yeah, Dan, what you're talking about there is making prison wine. That's a little different.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, the learning has come from, mistakes along the way. By no means, were we perfect in the beginning, but we had to figure out, how do you get better each and every single time? And it's not, like you said, just throwing hops in there and some malt, and then voila, it's done. It's, temperature, it's time, it's a bunch of, other aspects that a lot of people don't know about, and the slightest little tweak can do a lot to your beers.
Well, awesome. So any new exciting plans or news, any new markets that you guys are going to be coming into soon? Anything you want to plug that's coming up?
No new markets. We recently just did a brand relaunch with all our packaging this past summer. It came out right around July, end of July, which we're really excited about. And so that took a good portion of our time the first half of the year. So now really looking to drive this new packaging and, our brand message into the markets that we have. Believe there's so much more room for growth in our markets. So our focus for the rest of 2018 and 2019 is just to grow what we have. We set out to be first movers in the metropolitan cities we're in. So now it's, further penetration and really build the brand with what we got.
What I like, too, is you guys contribute 1% of your sales each year to nonprofits that help preserve natural resources that are out there.
Yep. We part of 1% for the planet. When we first launched, we were kind of, playing around with, what we wanted to focus on. And we did Sea Shepherd in year one, after watching like Paul Watson, in that show. And then we donated to Santa Monica Marine Mammal Foundation. And then really in 2015, just honed in and decided to focus solely on nonprofits that are dedicated to preserving water. So obviously water is a big component in beer. So since then we've been doing that. So working with groups like the Surf Rider, or last year we worked with LA River Restoration Project. So just stuff around water, just because it makes the most sense for us, because it's the main ingredient in beer.
Right. I like when breweries give back like that. So kudos to you guys. That's amazing.
Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, we like doing it. We feel good about it. We argue over who we're going to donate the money to every year, but it's fun and it's a good cause.
Yeah, and that's the thing. No matter who it goes to, you're doing something good for the environment, for the community then, too. So I've got one more question, and it might be a little sacrilegious, and I apologize. Do you ever foresee a day where you might go to 2 beers done right?
I don't know.
Okay.
As of now, no.
Okay.
The lager market, I mean, people say, it's only one beer. How are you going to, diversify and grow? Well, if you take a step back and you look at the pie that is the beer market in the United States or even globally, we'll just stick to the United States. It's lagers over 80% if you include imports.
Yeah.
It is a niche what we're doing, but there is so much opportunity, and it makes us different, and you need to be different when there are now, I think I just read 7,000 licensed breweries in the United States.
Yeah, it's probably 10,000 by now. I don't know.
Yeah.
It changes every day.
Yeah, exactly. So as of now, no, just focus on doing this thing right, and that's our goal and our strategy.
Yeah, and I didn't even think of this until right now. Considering where you guys are, a lager makes perfect sense because the weather out there is beautiful year-round. You're going to want something light and crisp and refreshing, and what better way to do it than with a craft lager? Yeah,
with 320-something days of sun in Southern California. So, yeah, it's you can definitely drink it year-round, and, it's maybe aside from a handful of days, you don't want one.
Yeah, it's a good plan. It's a good plan. Well, of course, Brendan, we want to thank you for taking some time out to talk to us. It was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it, and hope I can share a beer with you guys in person soon. Let me know if you're ever out in California, and I'll do the same if I'm out east.
Yeah, definitely. LA is definitely on my list of places I have to go again. I love it out there so much.
Well, you're welcome here, and we have lots of beer, so
wonderful.
Let me know.
Will do. Yeah, well, thank you so much for taking the time.
I appreciate it, and thank you guys for having me.
No
Thanks,
problem.
man.
Cheers. I never thought a place could survive serving one beer.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they do. One beer. It's one beer done right, but that's it.
There's a couple companies that do just one style of beer, but a lot of them are either like what's the word I want to use? Like gimmicky beers, like the Mamma Mia pizza beer. You ever heard of that?
Right.
That's a company that just makes it one beer. Or there's like German companies that just make one kind of beer. But it's kind of cool. Yeah, they make a lager and pretty sweet.
Yeah, dying to see if we can find that and give it a try. Hopefully we can do that on the show for like a review or something. Put it on the website.
Yeah,
but we got to find it first.
Yeah. I like when we have production meetings live on the podcast.
It makes life just seem real.
I know, right? It's you get to see behind the curtain.
This is what happens when Steph isn't here. We just kind of do things on the fly.
Yeah. She definitely is the organizer.
When the
Exactly.
organizer isn't here,
Yeah.
you guys just do whatever.
we didn't have a fucking extension cord when we got here.
Yeah, yeah. So, Steph, as you're listening to this, leave the extension cord with us. I have a surge protector, but we need that.
We literally have all the other electronics.
Yes. But speaking of organization and Steph and involving Evil Genius, I know it's a stretch. Just go with it.
Okay.
I want to know where we're going with this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, we were just talking it right before we started recording how this got booked.
Right.
So
right.
the funny story is, so you guys are part of what is it? Inspire now?
Inspire Energy, so that's our energy supplier here. So it's all renewable, clean energy. In fact, it's wind energy.
Which is great. You
And
got to think
so-
about the environment, of course.
Absolutely. So that's where we get all of our power from, is from wind farms.
Yeah, that's
ultimately
awesome.
That's wonderful. But I guess there was a PR rep or something who was trying to make a big push about it, doing the press release and everything, but found their way to us.
Right.
Emailed Steph and said, hey, would you be interested in meeting Trevor? Hey, we're the co-owner of Evil Genius, and we can book a podcast. We're like, we know this guy.
Yeah.
We've known him for years.
Like a
Yes,
lot.
we want to do it, but like, you didn't have to do this.
Like,
Thank you for the effort.
We'll be happy to. But you
Yeah.
know what? It's cool that they reached out to us. It's cool that you guys are doing this thing. And I know you're not the only brewery in Philadelphia. There's a handful.
Yeah, I mean, I think yards as well. And like, you can buy this for your home. Like, you can change over your electricity to this company, Inspire, and it is 100% renewable wind farm, and it you obviously get all the benefits of that, and it's not actually more expensive necessarily either. So,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, one place doing it, does that really affect everything? Maybe not much, but the more people who are like making that decision to
Right.
choose renewable energy in that respect means that this is kind of like, it's a snowball effect.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And as a business, like if you do that, you make the commitment to do that and say, hey, we're doing this and it's fine. Like, it's not
Yeah.
costing us more than we can afford. We're not in over our heads. This isn't hard to do. This is
Exactly.
a simple, easy thing we could do. It's
Yeah.
good for everybody involved. I do want to give a shout out on their website here. They do have some of the other local breweries listed. St. Benjamin, Roy Pitts, Dock Street, Great Barn Brewery, and Fishtown Brew Pub are all listed as
cool.
being involved in the program. So that's pretty awesome. And I was thinking earlier, do you remember years ago in Pennsylvania,
Probably not.
they changed the law where you could like choose your electric provider?
Yes, actually, yeah, a couple
Yeah.
years
So
ago.
I imagine that's what makes something like this possible.
Yeah, I actually talked to a rep from, I forget the company. Was it NRG? No, it was Green Mountain. It was Green Mountain Energy, who were one of the first ones to do it in Pennsylvania. And it would have been a little more expensive, which at the time I couldn't swing, but I might need to revisit it now. Because you don't necessarily change. Nothing changes how you use energy in your house, but it's just a matter that it's better on the environment because it's all renewable. Instead of relying on giant infrastructures with all this energy that they're pumping out, you get the wind, which, I mean, there's always going to be wind. Sometimes there's too much of it.
Yeah. Sometimes there's too much, sometimes there's not enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Windy.
Windy. You get the wind. You get the wind. So that's pretty awesome. How long have you guys been doing that?
So we opened like about 18 months ago, and I think it was like 2 or 3 months in, we made the decision to switch because, you know, obviously in this area, Pico is the supplier, as in the facilitator of
Right.
the pipes, etc., that
Right.
come into the building. But you can choose your actual energy supplier. So originally, because you have to sign up for something, we just had Pico. Of
course.
But then obviously you can go onto these exchanges and pick whoever you want to be your provider. And we learned about Inspire and learned that what they were doing and looked at, you know, I mean, some of this stuff also does come back to money as well. Like, if it was going to be like 10 times the cost, what would we be doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
You'd have to think a lot harder
You'd be
about
thinking
it.
a little bit more
Yeah.
more about it. So, but what's awesome about it is it's not that much more expensive. In
Right.
fact, it can be cheaper as well, depending on your situation, what you're using. And that's awesome that not only are you potentially saving money, but you're also doing something that's great for the environment.
Right. And it has absolutely no effect on your actual electrical service. Like, you plug things in and
Yeah,
it
it's
works.
not like on a non-windy day,
Yeah,
the lights
it's
go
like-
down.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
intermittent power outages.
I know early on we had talked to you. Maybe it was the first time we recorded here. I don't quite remember because there's been so many times, like we've already
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned there were so many other things that
And
you-
alcohol.
and alcohol. Yeah, that's the biggest one. There were a lot of other things that you were doing to stay environmentally sound. And I know a lot of the dishware you use, if not all, is compostable, right?
Yeah, so we don't have, like, most restaurants obviously have a dishwasher and they're using regular, you know, ceramic plates or whatever. Our space is small in terms of being able to do stuff like that, so we went with 100% compostable. So all of our flatware is our banana leaf or palm leaf, depending on which item you get.
Right.
So that makes things, that's one thing that's better for the environment than just using like plastic plates or that sort of stuff. So that's one item we do. We also have an apiary on the roof.
Yep, I was going to ask about that too. Yeah,
we got bees.
Yeah.
Actually, funny story about that. So we noticed like a bunch of like dead bees, and we're like, so we got our beekeeper to come back out and like check them out. And to make sure, our hives were doing well,
Right.
etc. And he goes up there and he goes, yeah, so all the dead bees are actually not your bees. Your bees are being very aggressive in defending your area. so we have like Kensington, these Kenzo bees. They're killing everyone right here.
Wow. B Team 6. Does that work?
I wonder
Field
what it's
Team
like
6.
to know so much about bees that you could tell the difference between your bees and
I
the
know,
other
right?
bees.
I'm like, it's
Yeah.
a bee. Can it fuck off from me right now?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't come near me. But continue pollinating things because we need you to live. Yes.
And our hives have done really well, and
Good.
this is one of the other things. Like we do that because it's not only obviously an awesome thing to talk about and whatnot. It's actually very good to help the bee population to continue to pollinate our
Right.
areas, because no pollination, no food, we all die.
Yeah. And I mean, even more scary, no beer. I mean, beer relies very heavily on, grain.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, so if you've got the hives there, I'm assuming honey ends up being part of it. Now I know
Yep.
we had the charcuterie board the one time we were here, and there was a stick of honey, and it was delicious. And I don't like honey that much, but it was great. But
How do you not like
I know,
honey?
shut
It's
up.
like sugar.
I'm learning. All right, I'm learning. So you had that, and we talked about it a little bit then.
interjection. Someone at work the other day asked me if there was sugar in caramel. Continue.
Wow, even I.
That's
know
like
that.
asking, is there sugar in anything? There's sugar in
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
everything.
Is there sugar in sugar?
Even
true.
the tiniest level of
Yeah.
sugar is there's in
It's like-
almost everything.
Is there water in this?
Except Diet Coke.
Except Diet Coke. That's all aspartame. If they're producing the honey, I'm assuming you use it for some kind of food. Is there enough that you can yield to like throw in a brew?
So there's not enough for us to do a full batch of beer with it, and in fact we still have from last season. So this season's honey we haven't actually received yet. Like it's still in the hive. So within the next few weeks he's actually going to be coming out and he'll take the hives away. Last year he left them here, the bees that is, and they all died.
Oh,
We
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
a
the-
horrendous
yeah,
winter.
So
That's
that
true,
time
yeah.
it was your bees.
Yeah.
Our bees died because
Okay.
it was
As badass
really
as they
cold.
were. Yeah.
I think this year he may actually move. I didn't know that this is a thing that happens. And they drive them down to Florida for the
Oh,
winter.
shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Or I think it's South Carolina or
Right,
something
right,
like that.
yeah.
So somewhere a little bit more temperate for the winter.
Right. They can vacation.
Exactly. I mean, who doesn't want a vacation?
Yeah.
So I think that might be the plan this year. But last year, the winter, they were testing it because around here sometimes the winters are not that bad.
Right.
But last year was brutal.
Last year was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing: is that bees that live, and you're going to get a little education
It's cool,
here on
bring it.
bees.
Yeah.
Is that bees that live in Canada know in the winter that it gets ridiculously cold, so they all clump together really, really close. Whereas the ones around here don't really realize, so they don't clump together close enough, and that's why they died.
Wow.
No shit. Wow.
That's the thing.
Stupid
Yeah.
bees.
I figured they would learn.
Well,
But
all the
problem
ones
is they
all the
only-
ones
they
who
only
learn
learn
die.
Isn't that sort of how evolution works? I know all of them died, but there's got to be one or two that survived and just can tell the rest of the hive, hey, let's do this next year.
Evolution's a very slow process, Dan.
Well, no, it's
Bees also, their time scale is much shorter than ours.
It's a
though.
case of if one dies, they if some of them are going to die, they're all going to
Yeah.
die
One light
okay.
goes out, they all go out.
because they're all retaining heat together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what they use the honey for. They actually use it to retain
Oh.
heat as well. Yeah.
Right.
I thought that was just there for us.
Yeah. No. Did
Okay.
you see the Disney movie? Come on, man.
No. Wait, was it a Disney movie?
Or Pixar or whatever.
Oh,
the one with
With Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it either.
How much honey do you get in a season?
So last year, I think we got it was about 3 gallons, which it's actually a lot of
That
honey.
is a lot for honey. Yeah.
But it's not enough to make a full batch of beer.
Right.
But it is enough to do stuff in our kitchen with.
Yeah.
And firkins and pins and stuff like that. So
Ah.
that's what. In fact, we haven't used a lot of it, so we need to make a plan to use more of it. And we got the stuff last year. He had it because when honey comes out, it's kind of dirty. It's
yeah.
not dirty and isn't bad. It's just not
It's
clear
just not
honey.
clear,
Yeah.
right.
So the stuff we got last year was he cleared it up and whatnot. This year I think we want to get the raw dirty honey.
the dirty honey.
Ah.
Dirty Kenzo honey.
Raw honey. That's
The
cool.
Kenzo
So,
honey from the Kenzo bees.
so you have a bee guy. who like takes care of the
Yep.
bees. So do you-
Philadelphia Bee Company. is-
Philadelphia Bee Company.
Yeah.
Shout out. That's
Yeah.
a very appropriate name. So is it like you lease the space and he just keeps the bees here and then you can like use the honey? Like what's the arrangement for that?
Yeah, it's more a case of, so the agreement is that we'll get a certain amount of honey by the end of the season.
Right.
But he does all of the maintenance. So,
Right.
I mean, and they're very self-sufficient. So
Yeah.
I think he's been at maybe, he came out to put them up there.
Right.
And I think he might have been out twice since then.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
And if we thought there was a problem, he'd come out
come
and
out.
take a look or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah,
That's
so,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I was worried to begin with. I was like, oh, so they're up on the roof, obviously, but we have a beer garden right here. I was like, are all
Are
these
they all
bees
gonna
going to be
swarm
like,
down? Yeah.
like pissing people off or,
Yeah.
flying around? And like, no.
No.
No. You don't see them at all.
Yeah, we've hung out in the beer garden here. I've never seen bees flying around.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, we have a bunch of beer in front of us.
We do. Let's
This,
start.
this feels like
So
a natural point.
Not
to
only did we
transition.
start off with a sipping beer, but there are flights in front of us too.
Yeah, although I think some of our sipping beer is going to end up in the flight, so we'll probably just talk about them as we get to them.
All right. Well, let's make it official at least.
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
I think Trevor's trying to figure out which beer is which. I came
No,
up.
it's more a case of which one should we try first. So I'll tell you. So they're labeled A, B, C, D, E.
Yep.
Right.
So I will tell you which one to grab because I know which one is which.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
We are going to start though with the number A.
Right.
Number A.
Number A.
Number A. Me fail English. That's impossible.
Possible. That could be the name of a beer.
We definitely are at some point going to do. So we've been doing the prank phone calls from The Simpsons as a
nice.
series. So
Yeah.
I think IP Freely is the next one coming out.
Oh, that's amazing.
But after we're done with those, although there's still a lot of them, so we might just put this in there anyway.
Yeah.
Is I want to do Ralphisms. I'm in danger.
Go banana.
That's a great one.
It's got to be in
Wow.
there. That's my
I
favorite.
broke
Ralph
my
ever.
Wookiee.
That's the other one.
I'm not as good of a Simpsons fan as you guys. The only one that comes to mind for me is my cat's breath smells like cat food. I like that one.
I don't think that would work for a beer name, though.
I'm a brick.
Yeah, and it tastes like burning. Did you guys do that one? Did you have
We
a beer
did
called
not
that?
do that, no.
I feel like I've had a beer that was called that before.
I'm sure we're not the only breweries that have done Simpsons references.
Well, you hear a name like that,
Yeah,
and I assume
yeah.
that must be an Evil Genius
Yeah.
beer. But
I'll
so-
happily take the credit for it. I hope
Yeah.
the beer tasted good.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But we're gonna start with Every Day I'm Rustling.
Nice.
The Oktoberfest.
Oh, I think I had this last year, and God, was it delicious.
Oh, that's nice. That's
What's
nice.
really interesting about this one as well is that as it's, we've had this on draft for probably about a month at this point. As it's been aging, some more of those dried fruit notes are coming out. Like I can definitely get like fig or those sort of kind of flavors in there, which is really nice and interesting.
Yeah, you get a lot of like that dark fruit, that stone fruit type
Yeah,
character, and
exactly.
it's very caramely, which is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. I am on a personal mission. And I've said
Yep.
this before. And
You
I'm
said
gonna-
this last episode. In fact.
Every time we have an Oktoberfest, I am on a mission to make Oktoberfests more popular than pumpkin beers every fall because I just think I don't know, I just love them so much. No offense to people who make or love pumpkin beer. Some of them are very good. We're going to have one later.
I was going to
that's
say we're
very
going to have
good.
one later that happens
That is
to be
really
one
good.
of my favorites.
No, and without getting into it now, there's a reason why we make our one, which is very different than most of the pumpkin
That's
beers.
true. It is
For
very
that exact
different.
reason too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's not like a chai spice beer.
Right.
It has a lot more going on. This is really nice though.
Now, didn't you do steins of this when you first released it? You don't have any of those floating around anymore, do you?
Oh, we sure do. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we have a few steins.
We
yeah.
may need to talk at some
Yeah.
point tonight.
We did a Stein holding contest as well.
One of those.
Oh yes. I've never actually.
We like our silly
participated in
games here at Evil
Yeah.
Genius,
Oh, of
as you
course.
know.
Oh, yeah, I got a bone to pick, speaking of games.
Oh boy.
Came here on my birthday this year, as I do. There were no board games out on any table. None of them.
For shame.
All I wanted to do on my birthday, Trevor, was play Connect 4. And I had to download an app.
See, here's the problem. So when was your birthday?
The end of May.
Okay. So why are you telling me this now?
Because we didn't record with you then.
You
and
complained to the bar at the time. That's
I,
what you do.
I needed to call
You
you
need
out
to
in
be
front of
that
the whole
asshole.
internet. No.
Like, do you know
was-
who I
It
am?
was fun otherwise, and you stopped by. Garrett stopped by. I was having a good time, but before that, I just wanted to play some goddamn Connect 4.
What's really funny is like this literally happened today. So we do these murder mysteries.
Yes,
So
I was
we
going to
had
ask
one
about
on
those.
Monday. So when things like that are going on, we take all the games and we put them, and we have like this big trunk that's basically a coffee table, and we just put them all inside there. And then what happens is everyone forgets that they're in there and we don't take them back out. So we had a murder mystery last weekend and today, so we've been open Wednesday and yesterday as well. I said to Gareth, like, we don't have any games out. We should put the games back out. And so we put the games back out. So that's probably what happened, is that around that time something had
There was
happened.
an event of some sort.
So, yeah.
Okay,
So
that's forgivable.
it's all about forgetfulness around
Just
here.
next year, just have it sitting out waiting for me.
Well, next year I'm going to buy you a game of Connect 4, apparently.
Oh, thanks.
Happy birthday!
Hey. So what's next on this wonderful
The next
flight?
one is the one that I already had some of
the
before we
Snickerdoodle.
started.
So that is
Which
gonna
is
be
number
E.
Number E. It's like math. It's numbery.
Numbery. Nice. What's the
I
official
see what
name
you
of-
did there. I see what you did.
What's the official name of this one?
This one is called Close the Goddamn Door. Just because, as you know, we don't do normal names for our beers.
Right.
And I am quite active on the Instagram. And it's one of those memes that comes up a lot is the Close the Goddamn Door thing, which is obviously a reference to Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
That song, but that comes up a lot in memes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I find anyway. So, and I was like, that's kind of a funny beer name. And I was like, let's do it.
I think it's a great beer name.
Although it was funny, the other day someone thought it was a reference to Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. I have not seen it.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's a scene because they're in this cabin in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
It's snowing or whatever, and every time the door opens, they have to like literally nail it shut. And they're like, close the fucking door. I forgot. Am I not supposed to curse? Or I'm
Oh, you
cool?
can
you can
swear.
curse.
You
Oh,
want.
I just
absolutely.
couldn't remember, yeah.
No, you're cool.
I was
You're
like,
cool.
I figured they would have said it because I've said fuck
Yeah,
a
I think
lot now.
we've all cursed a couple times. That's
I
fine.
mean, you guys have. Let's be honest. Luke has talked about like Italian strippers and hookers and whatnot.
This is true.
Transvestites.
Transvestites. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting my Luke stories confused.
That's
Yeah.
quite a throwback.
There are a lot of them, so.
yeah.
Anyway, this is a Snickerdoodle. Did we say this yet?
We did.
Yeah, we didn't
Snickerdoodle
actually
mild.
talk about it at all. It's only 3.6%, so it's obviously relatively low ABV in that respect. And it is kind of snickerdoodly.
I really like it.
I really like it too. I like that it's not like when you say, I asked you for a really low ABV beer when we got here, because I always do that first because obviously we're going to have a lot. And you were like Snickerdoodle mild. I was like, sounds really interesting. I was expecting like a candy bar beer.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is really nice because it's not super thick and sweet. The Snickerdoodle is like very subdued,
Yeah.
and mild's a great style of beer. And I don't know that I would ever thought to make like a candy themed mild. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like this is one that John really wanted to make, our brewer. And so it was on our like to-do list for like the longest time. And then other things kept like pushing it not further down the list, but it just wasn't moving up.
Right.
And like we even had like some of the ingredients that he wanted to use. So eventually we're like, okay, let's actually make this and see what people like it. And like, yeah, is it our most popular beer? No. I mean, it's not an IPA, so it's definitely not our
That's
most
true.
popular
Yeah.
beer. But it is nice to have that option for people like, hey, you know what? I can definitely have 2 of these and drive home.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I think that's what's kind of nice about it is that it is that low ABV beer, and sometimes that's what people want. And it actually has a lot of flavor to it. Like sometimes those lower ABV beers are very thin and don't have a lot of flavor, and I feel like this one really does.
It does, yeah. So what is in this that gives it the? Did you just throw Snickerdoodles into the beer?
Yeah, basically no.
Yeah.
Let me look that up
Okay, fair enough.
because I can't remember.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it is delicious. Like it tastes like a Snickerdoodle, but also tastes like a mild. Like it's straight to the point.
Yeah.
John is, and this I was going to say it without the pun, but it's obviously so there. John is an evil genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think what's great about his recipes too is like there's a lot of brewers out there that do a little more esoteric beers, like a Snickerdoodle or like some of the crazier stuff. And a lot of times it's like, it's cool for like a sip or two, but it's also kind of gimmicky. But the evil genius beers that have that kind of twist are actually like really solid beers too. Like it's
So it's we use British malted barley, and then we hop it with American hops. But it's really the cinnamon which is obviously where you get the whole kind of Snickerdoodle part, and then it's an English strain of yeast.
Okay.
So it gives us that kind of that characteristic too.
Right.
But it's one of those things that it's low ABV. It has those kind of little, like it's not overly cinnamony either.
No, it's not. Not
Whereas,
at all.
like, I mean, there's a lot of beers where, and sometimes a lot of cinnamon works. This one, I think the subtlety of it obviously is the part that I think works the
Of course,
best with it.
it's
Yeah,
there, but it's not
absolutely.
overpowering in the least.
It is, dare I say, mild.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
John and I talk about this all the time where, like, because we make so many more beers here, like, we rotate.
Right.
A lot of times we don't make anything more than once. Some things we obviously, that are very popular, but it gets to the point where, like, what was that beer that we made again
Yeah.
6 months ago? Like, you'll say a name and be like, or we were talking about naming beers the other day, and I was like, oh, we should name this thing. He's like, we already did that. I was like, did we? I was like, oh, okay, I guess I used that one. And I'm like, have to, like, refer to my spreadsheet that I
I
have
was gonna
saying,
say, there's
did
gotta be
we?
spreadsheet,
And I
yeah.
literally have a comment saying, did we name a beer this yet? And it goes, yes.
That's funny.
It's incredible. You should do like a naming contest. Like just leave.
We do take suggestions.
Well, no.
so-
Here's what I envision. Take it or leave it.
There we go.
Be honest. Brew the beer. Don't name it. Put it on the board, unnamed, and then have the contest. Like run it for a week. Whoever's name is chosen gets like 2 crowlers of it or something, or like free beer
Okay,
and a shirt
yeah.
or something.
Yeah. I can do that. Yeah. Like sometimes we'll like rename beers. So we did it as in like we'll have a name for a beer and then change it. Like we did Philly hashtag Philly wants LeBron.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And then we changed
well,
it
that
to
had to be
Philly
renamed.
wants Kawhi.
Yeah.
And then we changed it to Philly wants Airbud. Because we
Yeah.
were running out of players at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So
The only reference I really got was Airbud. In
Of
that
course.
one.
It's a basketball thing.
yeah.
Well, I knew they were basketball players.
Yeah.
So I put that all together.
Well,
yeah.
speaking of basketball, I mean, I don't know if we've ever talked to you about this on the air. I mean, obviously, your sports beers are just super duper ridiculously popular.
Yes.
So you have Trust the Process, which was for the Sixers,
Correct,
and then
yep.
Fly Like an Eagle in different variations, which is for,
Yep.
of course, the Eagles. Are you going to do a Phillies and a Flyers?
We're talking about it.
All
I
right.
mean, obviously, Litzy, as we all know, they launched their new mascot,
Yeah.
Gritty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the low hanging fruit, though.
it is. Well, and
It
Broken,
is, and-
Broken Goblet
no
released
offense
I
to
mean,
Broken
literally the
Goblet,
next
they were,
day
they were
it was
right
like
on
2
top.
days
And like
later.
John texted was like, we should do a Gritty beer, and I was like, not that we
he-
can't. I was like, they literally are
Like, they were
10
just-
steps ahead
Well,
of us.
there.
he already has a Gritty tattoo.
He does.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a very
the second
interesting
person
Gritty
I've come
tattoo.
across that has one.
That's probably the most.
I've seen at least 15 different Gritty tattoos
Yeah,
on Instagram.
the most
So-
popular.
Well, I've
tattoo
seen
of
It's
it
Philly.
almost
online.
actually like, it's almost more unique to not have a Gritty tattoo at this point.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I mean, Sixers is definitely something we would love to do with. And we did, Flying Hawaiian was kind of Phillies related.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
So-
about that one. I'm sorry.
And then I think we're kind of running out of sports.
There's only
You
so
can do
many.
the soul. You can do soccer.
Is there a
you can do the
lacrosse
union.
team?
Sorry,
Yeah.
in your land, football.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, I get you. Like I understand other parts of English, so yeah, it's all good.
What about a competitive Connect 4 beer?
Ooh.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be on board for that.
All right, cool. You should be on the label.
I should. No, it won't sell.
put you in the background.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can do that.
No, I mean obviously this, Philadelphia is very sports driven. There's no doubt about that, and we support that in 100%. I mean, we love all of the different things that go on around here. It's awesome, and so doing these beers has been really like awesome to be able to create beers that speak to people and they want to drink them while they're watching those games.
Yeah.
that like the Trust the Process one is obviously was the first one we did, and was actually one of the beers we actually opened the lab with.
That's
here.
right. Yeah.
And then we weren't sure we were ever going to make it again, but then it was just
It
so
was a huge
popular.
hit, yeah.
And it was only draft at that point. Now, obviously, we do it in cans and
Yeah.
we do crowlers and stuff. And obviously, the team the season just started up a few days ago, so we're going to be making that again a few different times over the next few months. And as we'll get to tasting at the end of this, we have a Complete the Process, which is one of the other slogans that they've kind of started
Yep.
throwing out there, because that's like basically Complete the Process is let's win this fucking thing.
Yep. I had. I know you're saying people want to drink the beers while they're watching the game. I probably, like almost everyone else who knows about the beer, bought a 4-pack of Fly Like an Eagle to watch the Super Bowl.
Yep. Oh, I mean, it was amazing to see the line of people just to
I
buy
bet.
beer to go to leave. Like, I mean, most of what we do here is on-premise sales
Right.
and people coming in here to drink beers here. But the line to just they're like, I want to get this because when they win the Super Bowl, because it was still an if technically, but everyone's like, when they win the Super Bowl, this is what I'm going to be drinking. So.
Dan?
I kind of hope that the beer is maybe a little bit lucky for us this year.
Yeah.
Not so much so far, but you
Yeah,
know what?
so
We're
get
very
on a-
early on.
Get on a Flyers beer then, because we need the luck.
That is true.
I was going to say, Dan was so excited about that beer, he actually took the time to write a review for our website.
In fact,
about
I'm going to
it.
try to find it. The end of the article, I had potential names that you could use for sports-related beers.
Ooh, here we
So
go.
I have to try to find this.
Yeah, please do.
Well, while we look that up, why don't we move on to sliding in the DMs?
Yeah, so this is
This
kind
is
of
the one.
So you may remember, and I'm not sure we ever got to try it on any of the podcasts, is the mocha or the macchiato porter.
Yes,
Newfound
yeah.
Who Dis.
Yes, yes.
So this
Which
is
is a fucking phenomenal beer. I'm
That is
sorry.
very good,
Didn't mean to
no,
interrupt.
not at all. I love being interrupted
Shower
by
me
you
with
telling me
praise.
that that something is awesome. But this one is a kind of our like alternative to that because it's a white chocolate. What is it again?
It is a white chocolate mocha latte amber ale.
I was like blanking on the latte part there.
Yes.
So it's a white chocolate mocha latte. So it has this really smooth flavor to it. It is on our. It is number C.
Number C.
Number C. All right.
And
Yeah, it's
so it's an amber.
yeah, and it's brewed with La Colombe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I had seen that.
Ooh.
So I think like very upfront you get
Oh.
that white chocolate note to it. But as an amber, and like I'll be honest, I'm more of an IPA guy generally. I've been drinking so much of this because it just tastes really awesome to me.
Incredible. Oh my god. It has a nice sweetness that doesn't linger at all.
And like the coffee note is there, the latte aspect to
Yeah.
it, but it's not overpowering.
Yeah.
It's there, you notice it, you know it's there, but it's enough that like because I'm not even really a big coffee drinker.
Right.
But this one, I'm very excited. Like we're doing it here right now, but it's going to be out in distribution. Like you'll be able to buy it in
great.
stores and stuff in bottles sometime next year.
I found the article, by the way.
Oh, here
Cool.
we go.
So I was teasing different releases you had coming up, like Pixar didn't happen, the pretzels are making me thirsty, and I choose you. More Ralphisms.
Yep.
There's only 3, but suggestions for future Philly Sports Center releases. It's a rebuilding year. Party like it's 2008, and there's always next year.
Oh, I like that last one
There's always next year. That is a
Yep.
good one.
because you can apply that to anything.
Yeah, as a Philly sports fan, that's the motto for life.
Yeah. We're not used to winning things,
No, not at all.
but when it happens, man, it's
Oh, God.
it's awesome.
Shit goes down.
I had like one of the most fun days in this city was the parade day.
It was
Oh,
amazing.
the parade day. I worked that day, and I left where I worked early. I left early. I left at like 1, and couldn't get an Uber home. Uber literally would not work.
Wow.
Like Uber was like, no, sorry.
So
Like,
you know how far the parade is from where we are sitting right now?
yeah.
But I came into work, I was like, like I don't think I'm going to bother going to the parade. Like it's kind of a whole thing. And I got into work, and literally the lot across the street, they were like charging people to park there to go to the parade.
Wow.
And this is like what we're like 2-3 miles away
It's
from
far,
the parade.
yeah.
And so I'm standing here with our brewer John, going, did we like kind of like mess up saying we're not going to do this, like not go? Because he came into work as well, and so we both basically filled 2 backpacks with crowlers of beer, and I think we had some cans of Fly Like an Eagle too, and we're like, fuck it, let's just go. So we were able to get an Uber,
Oh, really?
and we got
Wow.
it down to basically Brewery Town, which is
Okay.
where Luke lives. Met up with him and a bunch of his friends, and we walked down to the Parkway and just drank, and it was cold, and
Oh, but
you
it
just
was
kept
so much fun.
You just kept drinking, and you're like, oh man, and like I remember going into the porta potties, and like people were sitting on top of all the
Yep.
porta potties. So I'm like pissing, and like there's literally someone like 6 inches above my head sitting on top of me right now.
Wow.
I walked, no lie, 11 miles that day.
yeah, I remember you
It
telling me.
was incredible, but so much fun. But I knew that it was just a day to just get shit-faced.
Yeah.
So we drank bad beer all day.
Yep.
We started off at my friend's
You
place.
should have found Trevor. He had crowlers. And
I
Evil
know.
Genius.
know, man.
Where was the text? What gives?
Yeah, because like everything was working real well that
Oh
day.
yeah. totally. I tried to call.
I
a
had
friend
friends who were literally probably like 4 blocks from me, and I'm like, there's no way I could ever get to you.
When I got to the museum, I tried to call a friend of mine who was in from out of town, and nothing went through. No text, no phone, nothing. It was like, okay, cool. Like I'll see you later, or whatever.
Yeah.
But we drank like Bud Light, Miller Lite. Some dude gave us a Heineken when we were down at the museum. It was great.
You fancy.
Oh,
Wow.
I know, man. Look, if you're just out there to get drunk and celebrate sports, it's cheap beer for me.
Yeah, it was a long day because we started drinking at like 11.
Yeah.
Came back here, had drinks here, then went to a house party and like drank until like 1 a.m. I was
Yep.
like, I don't know how I did that, but it was one of the most fun days I've had in this
It was
entire
great.
city.
I almost passed out on my friend's floor at his house. I wasn't super drunk at that point, but like just walking that much kind of hurt, especially because I'm such an old man, you know.
That's right.
So what do we have next on the flight? Which number are we doing? There's only 2 left.
Number 4.
Oh yeah, we're doing Trick or Treat.
We are doing. Yeah, you don't need to tell me which number that one is.
Yeah. Number D.
Number D.
Get that D, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna get deep in this D. It's the other way around, I guess.
Aggressive, but okay.
Yeah, sure. So it is October. This episode comes out next week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
This is the first one I have 2 weeks dead in a
Oh,
long
that's
time.
right.
This
So-
comes out in November.
Yes.
Hello, the future. How
Hello
are
to
you?
the future. This will come out 2 days after Halloween. So in honor of that, we're drinking Trick or Treat. That's our excuse anyway. We were going to drink it regardless.
This is one of the few pumpkin beers that I genuinely enjoy and will repeatedly drink.
It is very nice.
So 7.8%. So it's on the higher side, but I mean there are clearly higher pumpkin beers. But it's a chocolate pumpkin porter, so it's more chocolate focused. Like that is the thing you're going to
Yeah.
get up front. But then it has the cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and obviously pumpkin, which pumpkin's a gourd, doesn't really have a lot of flavor to it itself. I mean, when people think pumpkin, they really are thinking of the spices,
yeah.
more than anything. And I think we balance those spices well with the chocolate, that they are there, but they're not too overpowering. And it is very different than most of the pumpkin beers in that respect.
yeah,
So,
it is very. It's like a chocolate with spices.
yeah.
More so, like I wouldn't. If you didn't tell me this was a chocolate pumpkin porter, I wouldn't even necessarily say, "Oh, this is a pumpkin beer." Like it's just sort of a cool
Right.
spiced chocolate beer. Which, yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I was at a beer festival this past weekend, and as you may remember, it was kind of cold on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we had I think probably had the highest ABV beer there, and everyone's like, yes, because I want to warm up. I was like, yeah, this will warm. Like you have a couple beers of this, it's going to warm you
Yeah,
up.
it's definitely going to warm you up. Yeah. And this is, I say a nice change of pace, but you guys, I mean, this is pretty OG for you guys. This
Yeah, I was going to ask you,
around.
what, like 4 or 5 years at this point, right? Probably 4.
No, more than that.
Is it really?
I'm trying to think.
This was not, when you guys were first on the podcast, this was not one of your beers, but I think the second time you guys were on, you had
I don't
it.
know about that, because if you look above you, you see like the 5th bottle in. That's a Trick or Treat bottle.
I was going to mention those bottles right now where we're sitting. So if you first walk into the
So
brewery,
that's 2012.
you have those bottles with the old
Oh,
school
then
labels.
you definitely had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we
It
have
may
it?
not have been in season at that point, though.
Yeah.
True, because you guys were on in the summer, the first year.
Was it? I have no memory.
I remember the Hunchback Heavy
Yep.
and the Evil
IPA and the
That's
Siren.
we
Siren.
definitely had it, but we just didn't have it.
I don't think we drank it
then.
then, but we did definitely the next time
yeah,
you guys were on. Yeah.
it's been in the mix, and it's funny because it's one of the few remaining beers. In fact, is there maybe one other one that doesn't? It's not a weird reference beer.
That's true.
It's just
yeah.
called Trick
yeah,
or
it's just
Treat.
Trick or
Yeah.
Treat. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
so-
Wow. That's yeah. That's pretty awesome.
It's the only one who survived.
Yeah, right.
So do you think you're ever going to bring back like Evil IPA or the Hunchback or anything like a throwback stuff?
You should do a throwback.
We talk
series.
about like doing that here at the
You
pub.
should. You totally should.
Like I've been trying to talk John into making our black IPA.
No, I
which was
remember
called
that.
Black Eye
Yeah.
EYE IPA because I really love that beer, and he's like, really? And like he's been reluctant on it, but I know he'll be like, he'll turn around some days like, oh yeah, I brewed that 2 days ago. It'll be on draft in a couple. I was like, cool.
Yeah, there you go.
John, if you're listening, you should do it.
Definitely should. Definitely should.
Ooh.
Oh, we have a podcast crasher.
In 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, we've got a podcast.
How many crashers give you a 2-minute warning? That's so
Yeah.
polite.
Yeah.
Well, he has to come
Vince
back.
Vaughn and what's his name, Owen Wilson didn't do
Yeah.
that. They just showed up.
He's got to come back. He left his beer at the table.
He's yeah. That's insurance right there. So I don't know. We've probably asked you this on the show before, but I don't remember. Has the recipe for this changed much over the years?
Very little. I mean, because John didn't join us until 2014, I want to say.
Yeah.
So after that, he kind of tweaked everything. But I think with this one, not by a lot.
Right.
From memory, but he made everything better. Is all
Yeah.
I'll say.
Right, yeah,
So
yeah.
So, but I'm excited for this one in the sense that it is I like the higher ABV for certain reasons.
Well, of course.
But I just love the fact that I love just sitting in the cold with this.
Yeah.
Like outside, like by a fire pit. Like that
Yeah.
is my like why I love this beer.
Yeah. Oh, that would be perfect. I haven't done it with a fire pit just because I don't have one. But yeah, outside.
We could start a fire out back.
We
in the
could.
yard.
We could. It won't be legal, but we could.
None of our neighbors are going to give a shit.
I have
dude.
things in the back that we could burn. There's
Billy
still that
Joel
old-
wrote a whole song about this.
which one of the last
I mean,
times we
he
were
didn't.
here.
Someone else did apparently.
One of the last times we
someone
were
else.
here, we also talked about Billy Joel.
This
Oh,
is
that's
true.
right.
This
Yeah,
is
and my
true.
brother's coming tonight because you know that he hates it when people call him Billy Joel. So I only refer to him as Billy
Of
Joel.
course, you have to.
So
The podcast crasher has returned.
the politest crasher ever. I said not many crashers give you a 2-minute warning. Hello and welcome.
Yes. So for you've only been on the show, I think, once at this point. Is that true?
Yeah. Very,
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
I think it was the first one you were in.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was before, admittedly, I actually knew your name. I was introduced to you on the air, and,
Oh, wow.
and I consider you a good friend at this point. Garrett, thank you for everything, of course. But thank you
Absolutely.
for taking a minute with us here now.
Always, yeah.
So I have to ask, what are you drinking besides the shot of gin that you have?
So to clarify, this is barrel-aged gin.
Yes.
This is not just gin.
Almost every time I'm here nowadays, you give me a shot of that. Please don't now I have to drive.
So this is Neo. What did I get? Asking for a friend. There we go.
Okay. I'm assuming we're getting to that one in the next
Yeah.
round.
We can definitely get
Hopefully.
that.
Yeah, absolutely,
All right, cool.
Yeah, sure.
What,
We're probably going to end up
I mean,
drinking
yeah,
every
we'll-
beer.
we'll
on
have
this,
everything
man.
and then
that's
some.
just how we do. So
we just got done with the we're still on the trick or treat. We had
sure.
the sliding in the DMs right before this, which is a phenomenal beer.
that's really
I have
nice.
also slid into the DMs just before getting here.
very nice.
Oh.
Very
No, you
nice.
didn't.
Well, it's my wife, so
Yeah. Fun fact: I had a full blown relationship happen off of sliding into the DMs.
Wait, the beer?
Your hand?
What are we talking about?
With a real live actual woman.
all right. Hey,
Yeah. It was
What platform were the DMs happening?
Instagram.
Oh man, so good. By the way, what are everyone's handles so that if people want to slide into our DMs?
Oh, are we going to do
Slide
that?
into our DMs?
We can do that. Sure. I'm at Nadrekab. It's Dan Baker backwards. NADREKAB.
I'm at Beerbusters because I don't have a personal Instagram.
Really?
I don't. I just have Beerbusters.
He
on my phone.
refuses to make his own.
Yeah, I just haven't. Yeah.
Like it's really easy to have two.
I know.
I think right now
have
is
it-
when it happens. Do
I
it.
have like 3
Like,
different accounts.
I
on
have my
Twitter.
own one, which is at Carry On Your Hayward Son.
Yes.
Oh, that's.
But I also
beautiful.
have one for Evil Genius Dougal.
Of course.
All
I
right,
have
right.
also one for our finance manager because he does things, so it's called at Steve Does the Things. And I have the Evil Genius
Steve
one.
does things, or is it?
No, I
things?
had to get the things because I couldn't get it without it.
boo.
But I actually kind of like it more because I feel like it's like saying, what the things is he going to do?
Right.
And then mine is at Evil Garrett Lee.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, that didn't.
Dan, I know we've known each other for a while, but as I've always grown up, and it's a thing that since I've moved into the city, I found out people don't like the two-name thing here. So I go by Garrett Lee and have for my entire life. Since I've moved to Philadelphia 5 years ago, everyone just calls me Garrett.
Interesting.
My entire family is just flabbergasted.
I'm sorry.
by
Do you
this
think
whole-
we have fucking time to be saying a second name for you?
Yeah, right.
No, I know.
Well, no. If you
Who do you
approach
think you
it
are?
as an adverb, like you
Interesting.
could do something Garrettly.
Sure. And
well, yeah. I
yeah,
can see that.
sure. And then a few of my staff actually use my middle name, which is Bubba.
Bubba. Your middle name is Bubba.
My full name is Garrett Lee Bubba Williams.
I like your thing, like Garrett Lee.
Garrettly. Yeah.
I like that
Garrettly.
actually.
Yeah. You know.
On the same note, we do have something here at the lab at the brewery called Luke Bowening.
Oh no!
I
What is
don't
what
wanna
is this?
know.
What is
I don't
this?
want to know.
So Luke Bowening
I
is
do.
when you're standing in an area that is a high traffic area, drinking and talking to someone, somewhat oblivious to the fact that staff is trying to get by you, and you have every right to be there because it is a public area, but you are standing in the way,
You're
sir.
very much in the way.
That's called Luke Bowening.
That's I
Oh,
can totally
Luke.
see that. That
Oh,
makes total
Luke.
sense. Yeah.
Luke,
yeah.
we love you.
Too bad he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
See, about the two names thing, there's a lot of people I work with who will use my full name, Dan Baker.
Sure.
Nothing else.
Right.
I either go by my last name because I work with two other Dans, or it's Dan Baker, just as a whole.
Okay.
Danny.
No.
Oh, I'm the same way. People try to shorten my name. They're like, "Oh, is Gary okay?" I'm like, "No, because that's not my
It's the same syllables.
That's not my name.
It's the same amount of syllables. Garrett, Gary. 2. You're not saving any
But
time.
it's also not an abbreviation for
Also,
Garrett.
no.
Thank you.
But like also like you could, I never would go Gar.
Yeah.
Gar. Gar.
And the rule is
How's the G-Man doing today?
G-Man. What's up, G-Man?
G-Love also works.
G-Money?
That sounds worse.
Yeah, no, it was
G-
when I
Where's
was
the
17 and
special
G-Love.
sauce?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, when I was 17 and G-Love was like huge.
Yeah.
Great.
G. Lee?
I guess.
G-Lee?
But
Well, no,
also
'cause
kind
then-
of awkward.
No, if you go G Lee, it could then just be Glee, and that's
Wasn't
I don't
that
want to do that to you.
that movie?
Right.
Wasn't there a movie?
Glee.
TV show.
No, not Glee. Giggly? Giggly?
Oh, G Lee.
Gilly?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a really bad movie.
Yep.
That I
Yeah.
actually saw, and it was really bad.
Wow.
Move
on to-
Gare Bear. Sorry. That's
Gare Bear? Okay, that one's cool.
The rule for that one is if I've slept with you, you're allowed to say Gare Bear. Otherwise, the answer's out. So, Dan, we're good to go.
I was
All right,
just
Gare Bear.
Why so many people call you that?
I'm going to call you Mr. G.
All right.
I like
All
Mr.
right,
G.
we can
I've
do
been
that.
called worse by better.
Wow.
Nice zing.
Well, we have one
That
more.
thing makes me think of Summer Heights High, though.
What's that?
You seen that show, Summer Heights High?
No. What
It's
is- what is that?
it's an Australian mockumentary, and the same guy plays all of these different characters.
Oh my god.
And the drama teacher, they refer to him as Mr. G. You will do not want to be called Mr. G.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Mr. G is out.
I'm going to put that out there right now.
All right.
All right. It's like Coach Steve.
Oh,
Instead of calling Steve.
I made thick in the warm. Oh my god.
You were saying,
Yes,
Dan.
my child. Oh.
So we've got one more beer on the flight.
We do, but I feel like I don't have the right one.
You really don't. What did you do?
You
I don't-
drank
I-
the wrong thing.
No, I didn't. There's
Oh,
no
did you? Okay.
So it's A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah, but we were
Well,
all out
we-
of.
You,
we went kind of out of
no,
order, and we've
uh,
also.
This was in my B spot.
your B spot.
This was in my B
You should have said
spot.
the B hole.
How did we not plan
It was
for
in your
that?
B hole.
Yeah, so I don't know what that is, but
I'm
Trevor,
wondering
smell
now,
it.
did you
Smell
drink
it.
the wrong thing? As in, like, it was. I know it was in the wrong spot, but like, were you drinking something and going, ooh, this does definitely not taste like...
no, because I thought of it like 3 beers ago because I was looking and I was like, wait a minute,
This
that's
Snickerdoodle
not right.
Wild
And I was like,
tastes
oh,
mango.
I'll bring it up later. But
I think you have an extra Snickerdoodle Mile, so
I feel
I'm going
like
to go
it.
grab you a Trust the Process.
All right, cool.
Or,
Okay.
complete the process.
right. To be fair, if I was going to miss out on one beer, the hazy IPA, I'm not too upset about it.
Finally, alone at last. Hello.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Gare Bear, how's it going?
Goes well. Just got to do a late night tour. So for the first, I would say 8 months, I did all of the tours here at Evil Genius.
Right.
I think I remember that.
Which was
Yeah.
fine. I was the only one that had all the information, which was important
It's
to
a plus.
do on tours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely a plus.
And so we try to do something with our tours where it's not. I don't want to give you a 25-minute tour on how beer is brewed. If you've been on a brewery tour and you go to another one, it's the most boring thing
Yeah.
possible. So we spend a lot of time talking about the company history, the build out of the space, which is super interesting. All of the different. All the different programs that we go through to promote environmentalism. So, like, we're the only Philadelphia brewery with its own apiary.
Right, yeah.
That's super rad.
Yeah.
I got to wake up at 4:30 one day and raise up tens of thousands of angry little bees onto the roof.
That part's not so rad.
Not so rad.
But the end goal and the
yeah,
end result
right.
is what's rad.
Yeah, so we get about 30 pounds of honey twice a year out of that, which we use on our charcuterie boards and we
Yes.
use in our cocktail program. And it's not enough to brew with, unfortunately.
Yeah, we were. Trevor was saying earlier.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm covering material then.
Yeah, it's fine.
We like to hear a different take on the bees.
It's true.
But yeah, so get to talk about that, all of the different environmental programs that we did to get this place open and what we were continually doing. And that's something that's continually interesting for me and something that I feel like as a brand we're able to do on site here. It's not something we necessarily promote out, but it is something that we're able to say like, oh, you came in. Let's check out the things that you're able to do as a responsible brewery.
Right, yeah.
And I applaud everyone that's doing all of those things and anything that they can do to make the beer brewing process more environmentally friendly.
Nice. Yeah, I was actually, spoiler alert, today's game is about the environmental impact of beer.
I have
I thought-
a bunch of information.
Yeah. But when I was reading up about it, one of the things I came across was like they're talking a lot about how like breweries are taking initiatives and doing all sorts of different things to be better stewards of the environment. And one of the questions that was raised is like, why aren't other industries so proactive about these sorts of things? And it was, beer is innovative. Beer is concerned about the local community. Your local brewery cares about their neighbors, and it's that kind of industry where it fits the philosophy.
Yeah. So, and I have another take on that is that the industry itself only really started getting there 5-6 years ago.
True. Yeah.
And so, as a new emerging industry, as breweries, I mean, well, Trevor, when you started, how many breweries were in the U.S.?
I want to say it was around 2,500.
That's
it.
it?
Probably 2,000.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we've come too far.
Well, when we
We're-
started the podcast, it was about 2,000 or 3,000.
yeah, I
think.
remember the first time we reported on 3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're at over 7,000.
Yep.
Yep.
So as an emerging industry, it's a lot easier for us to automatically say, like, yes, we care about the environment. This is a thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's a socially conscious way to go, and the more involvement that the public has about environmentalism and all of that stuff, we're able to, say like, no, we care, and here's what we've done. But people that have been around for 40 years, it's a lot harder to change that.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot easier to be super innovative when you're starting out and you're just building the business, from the ground level. It's a very good point. So now that we all have the correct beer,
Yes, now that we're all on the same page.
this is
More or less.
complete the process, which we alluded to earlier.
So this is the imperial version of Trust the Process. So it's 9%.
Oh, good
Oh,
Lord.
Jesus.
Yeah. But it doesn't taste 9%.
It does not
It's,
at all.
Very dangerous in that respect.
It is a very dangerous 9%.
Wow.
Yeah. I know you mentioned earlier about being sort of an IPA guy.
Yep.
Are you super into the New England hazy IPA thing, or
Have you ever met me?
yeah?
No, I really am. Although, I'm generally across the board not a big double IPA guy, mostly because I like to drink in volume.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
this
Well,
just doesn't work well for me in that
Sort of a
respect.
sipper, yeah.
But it's one of those things that, obviously there are exceptions to those rules, as there are for everything in life. And this is one of those that I'm super impressed with John being able to make a beer that's 9% and tastes about 6.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
As someone who has seen you drink in volume fairly often, I can say,
Really?
I can say that you do love the IPAs, but you will switch it up.
Oh yeah, I've been drinking. I was saying this earlier, the sliding into DMs, which not that I thought it wouldn't be a beer I'd like. I thought I'd like it, but I'm surprised how much I like it that I order it all the time.
Yeah.
So if this is the imperial version of the Trust the Process, going on a limb here, is this because we were so close with the Sixers last season?
I hate when this turns into a sports show.
I'm sorry, Wayne. We were so close with the Sixers last season. They were just right there. They just need a little more push. Is this because there's a little more push that's needed and we all need to drink heavily at the beginning of the season? Or is it just because you felt like it?
So, why are you trying to box me in? Why can't it be both?
Can it be both? Is it both? Is there a third option?
There's not.
Well, I
mutual
think
option.
so the name comes from the fact that this is something that Embiid has kind of put out there.
Right.
Not just trust the process, but complete the process. And complete the process means that they go on and they fucking win.
Yeah, this is
you know?
like the end result of
Yeah.
the process.
Oh, we're allowed to say the F word? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you say the F word. Yeah, you're fine.
I said it 10 times, and I was like,
Wait, I
asked them,
forget.
was
Can I swear?
I forgot. Am I supposed to swear, or are you gonna have to
Yeah, I am gonna ramp my. Great to be here, guys.
Yeah, great to have you. This has really been a fast and loose podcast.
It really has.
That's what happens when we come to Evil Genius.
Now that we've had a little bit to drink, I don't know, Wayne, do you feel like it's happy fun time?
I feel like it is
Time?
happy fun time.
Happy fun time,
Happy
game time,
fun time,
game
to
time, show time.
time to fun time.
I almost had it. There it goes.
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, good show. Great job.
Hey.
Cheers, Internet. And welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, a podcast trivia segment that, this time around, might just be the most on-topic edition ever. Like, I've never been this on theme
you
before.
did say earlier it's about like energy
Yeah,
and
so,
such, right? Yeah.
I've decided to take a hard turn into the realm of the educational and interesting.
Whoa!
And away from the usual funny, weird, and outrageous topics that usually dominate this segment of the podcast. This is a very simple, multiple-choice quiz about the environmental impact of beer.
Hey!
Is there a buzzer? I'm sorry. I don't
There
have
is
a buzzer?
not a
Okay.
buzzer. So the way, because this is a very low
We're
budget,
not that fancy.
this is a very low budget production. We do alternate who goes first, and everybody will give me their answers. So you have A, B, and C options, and we will begin to my left with Trevor, who's in the hot seat tonight. And here's a very apropos question: what brewery was the first in Pennsylvania to be 100% wind powered? Was it Yards, Trogs, or Victory?
I'm going to say Yards.
All right, Trevor is saying Yards. Garrett
Yards.
also saying Yards, and finally Dan.
I'm going to say Yards. 'Cause
Everybody-
I think we said it earlier.
Everybody said Yards.
It's
Everybody
also in the
wins.
building.
Yeah, and I kind of thought. The funny thing was when I put this question down, I thought, oh, that's really interesting. I didn't actually know that, but I was like, we're going to talk about wind power and a brewery. Like, it's probably going to come up. So
Is
I
there
was like,
new building?
That's the thing. So when I was reading up on it, when they opened their new location, the statement they made was, "We remain 100% committed to wind power," which kind of
little
reads
lowering.
like maybe it's not anymore. But I don't really know
Yeah, I
the
don't
details. But yeah, they were the first ones. They in 2011 they became the first 100% wind powered brewery. They used Washington Gas Energy Services, which kind of is a similar thing as Inspire offers 100% wind power for their electrical service. Yards Brewery, first in PA. Moving on to our next question of the game. I also apologize that this game isn't very funny this time around.
We can make it funny. if
It's
you want.
more
We'll try.
factual. So if anybody has any dick jokes they want to interject to sort of spice things up, to punch up the game a little bit, please do.
You want a
Garrett,
spicy dick?
I want
Okay,
a
cool.
spicy dick.
Spicy dick.
Spicy dick in my B spot. Garrett is going to guess first on this next question, and
Garrett
this
Lee.
is Garrett Lee. Garrett Lee.
Garrett Lee.
He's going to do it, Garrett.
He's going to do it very Garrettly. Based on a comprehensive assessment by New Belgium Brewing, how long would it take a single tree to offset the carbon footprint of a six-pack of fat tire? 2 years,
Okay.
2 months, or 2 weeks?
2 years.
All right, saying 2 years, Dan,
Completely offset the carbon footprint.
of one six-pack of fat tire.
I'll say 2 years also.
Also saying 2 years, and finally Trevor.
I'm going to go 2 weeks just to be,
All right,
that
just to
guy.
mix it up. Everybody's wrong.
Oh, shit.
It is
2 days?
2 months. Was the second option. Days was not an
That wasn't even an option?
That was not even an option. No, it went years, months, weeks. Pay attention, Gare Bear. New Belgium found that the carbon footprint of a six-pack of Fat Tire Amber Ale is 3,188.8 grams of CO2 equivalents. An average adult tree will absorb 59.65 grams of CO2 per day. It would take a single tree 53.46 days, or almost 2 months, to offset the carbon emissions of a single six-pack of the beer.
So I did have this question. I'm certain that you don't have the answer.
Probably not.
What tree? Are we talking oak?
That's actually a very interesting question. I didn't even think of that.
Is it a pine tree? Because
I imagine
they're-
yeah.
Well, right, because the offput of a tree depends upon how old it is. Now, maturity in a tree depends from anywhere from 15 to 35 years.
Right.
So when you're talking about an adult tree,
My notes say
God damn it.
a single
Wayne.
tree. Is that a kind of tree? A single tree? I mean, that's what it says here.
Oh,
Is,
good.
is the tree on Bumble? Like,
Yeah, it's a tree on Tinder. A lonely tree on Tinder.
Plenty
That's-
of bees?
Is the answer. Mostly bees. We've learned a lot about bees and trees. What we need is birds
No, that's-
next.
Is this
That's-
tree more single or less single than me?
It's a tree, so probably more because it can't move.
That is true.
Yes. It's hard to have game when you can't move.
Everyone has to come to you.
Exactly.
Most people do to me.
Hey.
You wanted jokes. You wanted jokes. All right.
Yeah, no. I had one boiling.
That wasn't a dick joke.
I decided against it.
It was about my penis.
I was going to replace 2 with on.
It wasn't very spicy. That's all I'm going to say.
It was a very
As someone who's never had my penis, that's true.
It was like Tabasco instead of
Definitely not.
sriracha.
Well, I'm a fire crotch, so it's inherently somewhat spicy.
There was that guy in Germany that ate that other guy's dick. Do you think he put any seasoning on it?
I would hope so.
I wonder.
Just like a little bit of cumin.
Human.
Think of how it's spelled.
I like
Human.
I like how it's
spicy.
Think of how it's spelled.
I like.
No, I get that
it's
part, but
come
come
in.
on.
But I like a little bit of cumin on my human. Speaking
of a human.
Speaking of MoveOn.org, Dan, you're gonna guess first on the next question. We're going back to this.
This is why we need Steph.
I
Just
know,
saying.
I know.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, Steph.
She brings the tone so far up.
She has the whip. She keeps us in line.
No, she gives you knowing looks, which you can't
That's
do
true.
on the radio.
Right.
She used to do it out loud.
Yeah, but no, I know. I've seen her doing that. Like, come on,
Yeah.
guys. I'm like, that's what we need here right now.
Do you
We should've
remember-
just FaceTimed with her so she could go like this?
We should.
Do you remember
The
when,
eyes.
when she always used to say, "Moving on"?
Moving on.
Moving on.
On that note.
Whenever we got ridiculous. Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
To our next question, Dan's going to guess first on this one. In their assessment, New Belgium estimates that the production and transportation of their glass bottles make up about what % of the six-pack's total carbon footprint?
Wait, wasn't the last question also New Belgium?
Yeah, this is from the same report.
Okay.
It's very interesting. So, the transportation and production of the bottles is what % of the carbon footprint of that six-pack? Is it 12%, 22%, or 52%?
I like 22.
All right, Dan is going with 22, Trevor.
I'm going to go with 52.
Going with 52, and finally the G-Man.
Samesies, 52.
52, samesies. Dan is the only one who's correct. It is 22%.
Did they deliver them by bike? I know that's a thing for them.
There's a bike on the packaging. I don't know how related to reality that is.
So I don't know if you know this or not, but I believe it at least used to be that on the first year anniversary of an employee being there,
Okay.
You got a bike.
You got a bike.
You got a bike?
Oh, cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
Very sustainable.
You got a bike, and they're like, all right, now
Cool. So
Take
can
the-
you truck this?
take
you,
this beer,
You live
yeah.
in the West End, so can you fucking take these couple cases?
Yep.
We got a trailer for the bikes.
But this is the largest portion of carbon emissions, excluding retail practices. Just as with wine, measuring the environmental impact of beer doesn't start with the beer itself, but with the non-consumable and consumable raw materials. All right, moving on to our fourth and final question of the game, and we're back around to Trevor to guess first on this one. Yeah, what? It is estimated that what portion of the overall carbon footprint of beer drinking is associated with retail storage and services? Is it a quarter, a third, or a half?
A half.
Saying a half, Garrett.
Sorry, could you do the question one more
Repeat
time?
the question, yeah. So
I know all the words individually, just
but,
together.
putting them
I'm a
together.
little confused.
Yeah, it would confuse me if I hadn't written it because I've had a lot of beer. It's estimated that what portion of the overall carbon footprint of beer drinking, so like beer drinking in general, what portion of that footprint is associated with the retail storage and service of beer?
Storage and service. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And it is a quarter, a third, or a half.
I would go with a third.
All right, going with a third, and finally Dan.
To me, half makes sense.
Half makes sense?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that.
All right, going half. Garrett is the only one who is wrong.
Oh!
Because it is one half.
Sorry, Gary Bear.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. The environmental impact doesn't end when the beer reaches its intended selling point. The retail venue has to spend energy on storage and refrigeration. It is estimated that almost half of the carbon footprint of beer drinking is associated with storage and service, especially at a venue like a restaurant where the beer needs to be kept at a certain temperature for serving. So there you go. We all got a little wiser today in Happy Fun Time Games, which doesn't happen very often.
It really doesn't.
So I've added up the score really quick here. And would you believe?
If you believe.
Would you believe? In first place with only one wrong question is Dan.
Fix.
3 points. To be fair, Dan could have looked at my notes beforehand because he has access to the same Google
doesn't
Drive
look at the
account.
notes.
No, he
I
doesn't
don't look at the notes.
Dan
Dan
doesn't
never
look
looks
at
at
the
the notes.
He didn't even bring an extension cord.
I know.
I think he's looking at the notes.
That's how
Come
you know
on.
I didn't look at the notes.
Don't even have an extension cord. But
It was
Dan,
the first thing on the notes. I got the notes.
I do have to say that you have had a really strong showing in Happy Fun Time games.
It'll
lately.
break. It'll break at some
Like
point.
there has you have had the gift of the Magi going on for a while now. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if you made a deal with the devil or something. But,
I'm sorry, do you know the story of the Gift of the Magi? Because that
it
is
has
not
nothing
how
to
that
do
works.
with the devil. I know. I realize
I just
that was
want to be real clear.
a very convoluted and mixed metaphor.
As
that
someone
I,
who's super into like mythology and legends.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
All right.
Anyway, in second place, with 2 out of 4 points, 50%, Trevor. Sitting at
50%.
50%. Sitting.
You get that.
You're like the retail thing, whatever the last question was.
Silently.
I'm all about the 50%.
Sitting silently, lonely.
Oh, okay.
Garrett Lee in the
only
corner.
one at the table who's married, sitting there lonely.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. But with only 1 point, Gare Bear, you're at the bottom of the barrel. Sorry. That's okay because there's really nothing at stake.
That's true.
Okay, so
matter.
next time though, mythology.
Mythology. You can do mythology next time?
Mythology
Also-
with beer. I've got
that
a
could
ton
be
of questions
interesting.
for you.
Okay.
Just got you said next time steak. Like,
Next time, steak. Next time, steak and gods. This is, of course, the part of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. We would like to thank you for keeping the lights on at Beer Busters Podcast International Headquarters. The following individuals are our most generous patrons: James Lamberg. Look at that. Joe Mann, the one and only Joe Mansell.
bacon.
Eric Dixon.
Hi, guys.
Nate Fockman.
He doesn't even realize.
This
Loved
is
it.
all Trevor.
No, not all of them, but a lot of them are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Hi Guys is definitely
Yeah.
it.
There were 2 that were you.
Yeah, it was you voicing the floaty
Yeah.
dude out there.
Hi, guys. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's you. Oh, yeah.
Brian Mills.
You are welcome.
There you go. Wolfgang von Colt.
Peanut butter belly with a J's ball bat.
You were early on that one. Jen McDonald.
4 to 7 inches.
I like that one. Marilyn Engelman.
Also Trevor.
Also Trevor.
I fucking wish.
Josh Price.
Oops, I just sharded.
Ron McDonald. Lawyered. And finally, Victoria Miles.
Oh, whoops.
There you go. If you want to find out how you can get on this list, as well as many other awesome behind-the-scenes perks, not the least of which is our bonus portion of the podcast, Last Call, you can go to patreon.com/beerbusters to sign up to become a patron of the podcast.
That is true. As for right now, though, I think we need to settle up.
Let's settle up that tab.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
Hey guys, we'd like to tell you about Casper mattresses. Now, if you listen to podcasts, you've probably heard of Casper, but if you haven't, let me tell you a little bit about it. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price of what you'll pay at the big box stores. Nothing is more important than a good night's sleep, except maybe a glass of good beer. Casper mattresses are obsessively engineered mattresses at shockingly fair prices. They have just the right sink, just the right bounce, with 2 technologies, latex foam and memory foam, coming together for a life well slept. You can try Casper risk-free for 100 days with free shipping and painless returns. If you want to try Casper, you can get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting CasperTrial.com/beerbusters and use the promo code 50SLEEP. Start sleeping better today by visiting CasperTrial.com/beerbusters and entering the promo code 50SLEEP. Terms and conditions do apply.
Moving on.
Moving on.
No,
your beer.
No, your beers.
Damn, this is a lot of words.
Shit. How screwed are we?
A lot of words. All right.
Where'd my drive go?
Do you want me to do it?
I'm going to
He's
try.
good at pushing buttons.
We should just pass the phone around like
We
every
really
every
should.
paragraph.
We
If you've
really
met Trevor,
should.
he's good at pushing
He's good at
buttons.
pushing
so.
buttons. I feel
I
like we've
push
done-
everyone's buttons around
push
here.
everyone's
You have
buttons.
No idea.
push them in their B spot.
No.
No.
And it's B number.
Oh, God, this is a lot of
number B.
words.
Number
oh,
B.
Steph, why? Come on.
This
Come on,
is
Steph.
this is where we're going to learn something. This is what's it called? Hop Talk.
Yeah,
This is Hop Talk. So we're gonna. I guess we're gonna talk about hops.
What's it called?
What's the thing we do professionally?
Yeah. So okay. So
Here we go.
skimming over the notes. We're talking.
I'm just gonna go.
talking about hops. Dan, kick it off.
Dave Green recently wrote an article for BYO magazine in which he discussed the intricacies of hops and the key components that every homebrewer should understand. Let's learn.
You took the shortest paragraph. Hop anatomy. Hop cones are the fruit of the female Humulus lupulus plant. Hops are bines. Each hop cone has bracts and bracteoles that cover up the lupulin glands found clustering around the strig of the hop cone. The lupulin glands are yellow when ripened, and the lupulin powder contains all the resins and oils that brewers desire. Lupulin powder accounts for between 20 and 30% of the weight of a dried hop cone. The main components of lupulin gland that brewers focus on are the alpha acids, the beta acids, and the essential oils. Take it away, Trevor. Number
really
3,
going around the
hop
table.
resins.
Hop resins. Brewers will almost always find a particular hop alpha acid percentage on the hop's packaging. This is because alpha acids most commonly are attributed to providing the bitterness and the preservative effects that characterize boiled hops. The percentage alpha acids are the weight of the alpha acid resins when compared to the total weight of the dried hop cone, often between 2 to 20% of the weight. There are 5 different classes of alpha acids. Most common to brewers are the ahumulin, cohumulin,
Oh, you were on such a
and
roll.
humulin. Cohumulin has long been thought to be the harshest, but more recent studies show that cohumulin simply isomerizes more,
Gary
more
is so
easily
glad
than the
you took
others.
this paragraph too.
The isomerization process is a molecular rearrangement, and then
Yo,
when
you nailed isomerization and then stumbled on molecular.
I know, right? I know. Words, man. The isomerization process is a molecular rearrangement, and when alpha acids isomerize, they turn from a somewhat bitter compound into a very bitter compound, about 9 times more bitter. The process occurs more quickly at warmer temperatures and is one reason brewers boil their wort. Isomerized alpha acids are also much more soluble in beer. With the isomerization process, alpha acids would not be able to
So close.
contribute more to the bitterness found in the beer, and I have been drinking. Garrett, it's on you.
Yay, there we are.
All right.
Cool. Can I do a fun fact?
Sure.
In here?
Fun fact.
So, Homulus lupulus means wolf amongst the weeds.
Yes, I actually
Oh, nice.
did know that.
Yeah.
But that's very interesting.
I have a bunch of different hop knowledge, but I'll read this thing. That's fine.
Drop that hop knowledge.
Cool. So the first time hops were ever really recorded for use was... Come on.
6th century or 9th century?
Well, right. So we're talking about Charlemagne's father left his hop garden to his son and said, please... Tell the priests about this. This is an important thing.
Right.
This is useful for you. So when was Charlemagne?
Dude, really?
Come on, history guys.
I don't know.
Come on, nerds.
2?
It's not 2.
Speed.
No, just 2.
All right.
4th
Cool.
century?
Great. So beta acids
No answer.
are
We don't get an
another
answer.
resin that can contribute to bitterness, much less than alpha acids. There are 5 beta acids that account for 1 to 10% of the weight of a dried hop cone. A hop's beta acids don't isomerize during the boil, but during the long-term aging of hops, your screen went dark. Fuck off.
It's on my screen.
Dan screen.
I thought you were
Long-term aging of hops, these beta acids can oxidize and create bitterness. Essential oils.
Oh, you're taking this
another
one
one,
too?
too.
All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Go.
The majority of essential oils will be boiled out of wort, but they can be highly aromatic and the flavoring components to hops. While there are hundreds of essential oils in hops, keep in mind that for anti-vaxxers, brewers tend to focus on a few key oils such as myrcene and humulene.
I'm so glad you took this paragraph.
Myrcene? Okay, yeah.
Looks
all
like
right.
myrcene, yeah.
Yeah. Essential oils only constitute about 0.5 to 3% of the weight of the cone, but their impacts can be potent.
Potent, I say. Now,
All right, Dan.
as far as hop timing, the time that hops are added during the brew day or after brew day is determined by what the brewer is looking to get out of the hops. Adding hops early in the boil increases the bittering aspect of the hops, since more alpha acids can convert into iso-alpha acids. Adding them later in the boil emphasizes the essential oils, providing more flavor and aromatics to the beer.
I'm going to try an NPR voice.
I was going to be generous and take the last one, so I'm glad you did.
Hop forms.
Oh, God.
Homebrewers most often utilize whole hop cones or hop pellets for brewing. But there are many newer products available to brewers these days, including CO2 hop extracts and purified lupulin powder that can be used for bittering, flavor, and aroma. Both products have lupulin separated from the remaining vegetative material of the hop cone, which helps brewers with yields, reducing vegetative material and associated off flavors. Homebrewers are also now starting to see distilled essential oils show up in the market. The distilled oils provide just that, the essential oils without the resins. So they cannot be used for bittering, but can provide a flavor and aroma kick to a beer if the brewer so desires. To learn more about hops, check out BYO Magazine. To get a free issue of BYO Magazine, go to beerbusterspodcast.com and click on the red banner.
It's red. You can't miss it.
It's also an animated GIF. So you
It
can't
is
miss
an animated GIF. Yes, you're right.
Oh, thank you.
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
No!
Round 2, fight.
There it is.
Wow.
This flight's been sitting here for a while.
It has been.
I'm anxious to get started.
What are we starting with?
There's more. Oh, okay.
Oh, there's more.
There's always more.
I can take a break.
Okay.
We can pause if you want.
No. Don't mind me.
I never do.
I gotta go see a man about a hop garden.
About a
See
hop
a man
cone.
about a hop garden.
Oh, all right.
About isomerization.
A summarization.
Yep.
Got it this time.
It helps when
No,
you're not
honestly,
reading
like
it.
when I was reading it, I was like, I felt like you'd read a lot, so I was like, I guess I can do 2 paragraphs. Got to the second one, I was like, there is a lot of very long words in here, and they're all words I don't say on a regular basis at all.
So what are we drinking now?
So number A is called No Can Do'sville Baby Doll.
Nice.
All right.
And it is our Appelweiss.
Oh, I was excited for this one.
So it's at 6.66%.
Of course it is.
Of course.
And if you don't know this, it's a reference to How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Do you also have Slaps Giving?
Not yet.
Oh,
There's
a
going to be
yet.
some other
All
How I
right,
Met-
good.
We did a Have You Met Ted?
Oh, that's right. I remember that one.
Which I always love that beer only because so John, our brewer, doesn't always get the references or just sometimes doesn't care what the reference is and we'll just get them wrong. So he's like, we were talking about Have You Met Ted? And he's like, so Here Comes Ted is going to be on draft. I'm like, all right, so you're mixing The Shining in with How I Met Your Mother now? And I'm like, that does not work for me at all.
You have to make a beer goal. Here comes Ted, though.
Here comes Ted!
Here comes Ted. What?
So every time now he says anything wrong, I'm like, here comes Ted.
Nice.
Oh, John.
Yeah.
So this one obviously has a cidery feel
Yeah, it's
to
very
it,
cider-like, yeah.
but it is a beer and just has that apple quality to it is what I would probably
Yes.
describe
It is sort of like a cider and like a wheat beer. Like,
and like it's not dry the way a lot of ciders are.
No,
It's
no.
on the other end of that spectrum, I would say.
yeah, but I don't think it's fully, like, I've had a lot of ciders that are like just way too sweet and
Right,
cloying,
right,
and
yeah.
this doesn't fall into that, but
Yeah.
it is not super dry either. Yeah.
I think of it like, you know those apples, like when you have an apple that's like a little bitter?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or, because it's not a sour beer, but it has that almost...
Yeah, it's a
I don't know
little,
how to even necessarily
is it
describe
like,
that
I don't know
in
if
that
it's
respect.
underripe or overripe kind of
Exactly,
a
yeah.
thing going on. Yeah. It's very nice. So, is it really 6.66% exactly?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty, like, I assume that was intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
And obviously, as a small brewery, we have the capacity to be that accurate with all of
That's
our
awesome.
measurements.
Yeah, it's amazing to target that
man.
hundredth
Yeah,
of a percent
yeah,
ABV
exactly.
and hit it.
You should do some kind of red, 6.66, and call it the Robot Devil.
I like that.
Occasionally, I have a good idea.
Once in a while.
Cool.
I do like this. It's really good.
It's very juicy.
Did the lights just go down? Are we setting the mood? Is that what happened?
That's what we do, yeah. We like to set the mood here.
At
I was
8:37
going to say,
p.m.
we're all checking the time. What time
Depends
do
on
the
the
lights
crowd.
go down?
Depends on the crowd.
There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go.
This is a mood lighting
That's
crowd.
what Garrett got up to do. Turn the lights down.
That's not Garrett that was doing it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think that was him doing that. Yeah. But he does generally do that also. Yeah. So we're going to go to number C next.
All right.
Ooh, number C.
Whatever. Make me a bicycle clown.
I can't
Which
think
is
of the
obviously
reference.
a,
What is the
Wedding
reference?
Crashers.
Ah, okay.
And this is a good old Hefeweizen.
And it is like one of the few times here at Evil Genius The Lab where we just made a beer and didn't do anything
With it. Yeah,
anything weird with it at all. So it is a straight Hefeweizen. So and it's fucking delicious.
It is
as far as
really
I'm
nice.
concerned. I'm very
It
biased.
is really
obviously.
nice.
Did it already happen, or is it coming up? The Luke Wilson WoW event. Owen
Yeah, we
Wilson?
did that a couple weeks ago. We're going to do it again, I think, because
Okay.
who doesn't like to say wow and just put positive entry? No, I think you can do better. It's wow. Wow. There you go. You got it now. Yeah.
It's sort of
Sometimes it takes some people a little bit of practice, and I understand it.
You got to put a little cat in it.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
We were thinking of maybe following it up with a all right. Event.
Oh, you have to do that.
So yeah, we're now drinking the straight Hefeweizen.
Yeah,
Straight
banana,
heavy.
a little bit of clove, but more on the banana side of things is where I think we
It is.
fall on this one.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like sharp, spicy. So how different is this from Hunchback Heavy?
It is very
I don't
different.
remember.
I think. It is very different in that I feel like Hunchback was actually way more banana forward. And obviously, a lot of that comes down to temperature at which you ferment at.
Right.
You can get those cloves versus banana notes and whatnot. And I think we were maltier with the Hunchback, as in this one is relatively clear.
Yeah.
The other one was was more of a not an amber in that respect, but more orangey.
Yeah,
That's what I would say in terms of color. So we're gonna do number D.
All right, which is
That is the. God, I can't read the name from here. Between being drinking and also the bad lighting now.
Between being drinking.
Which number?
Between being drinking, it's number D.
Well, I mean,
What
yeah,
number
but
on the
D's
board
not
is
on the
it?
board.
Oh, sorry, number 7.
oh,
shit.
Yeah, see now you're feeling my pain here.
Wait, I took a
Oh, no,
picture of the board
but
earlier.
Marge, it works on any Ayatollah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a Vienna lager.
Oh, a Vienna lager. Exciting. Is there anything weird about this, or is this just a straight Vienna lager?
This is a Vienna lager. There's nothing different that we do about it other than making a. Hopefully, you guys agree.
Oh.
An awesome Vienna lager.
Yeah.
That's delicious.
Like, obviously, as you know, we're relatively IPA driven, as most breweries are, to be honest
yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
But we try to keep, we have 12 beers on draft here, so we try to keep things, balanced in the sense of something for everybody.
Right.
So at any given time, we try to have at least one lager in some capacity on.
Right, yeah.
Right now we have 2, because we have the Oktoberfest and this.
It's got a really interesting malt character.
Yeah, I was going to say I love the maltiness out of
Like,
it.
there's almost a bit of, smokiness or roastiness in there. Like, you know
I
what
love
I mean?
the fact
I don't
that
get a whole lot of smokiness, but I get
it's got a little bit of that meaty character. You
It's
get from,
malty
smoked
and,
malt.
and sweet, but I don't get smokiness. I don't get
little
that
bit.
out of it. But I do. I really enjoy it. It's great.
I like the fact that, and obviously you're having it, I think you're both having it for the first time today.
Yes,
I think so. Yeah, I don't think I've ever.
Is that we've had this on draft for probably 2 months now.
Okay.
And it's changed in varying different ways over those 2 months. And I love the fact I love tasting beers as they change.
As they change, yeah.
And obviously there are certain styles of beer where that's not a good thing. Like you have a New England IPA, you want to drink that pretty fast.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
something like this changes and grows and is different over time. Same
Right.
with Shut Up Meg, which I think is, I believe that might be one of the ones we're trying in a minute, is that it changes. Like Saisons have that whole attribute where they will change over time.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's also really cool beers that change when you drink them at different temperatures.
Exactly.
Like a nice stout or a porter that has a lot of things going on, and a lot of barrel aged beers will do that too. Like where
Yep.
they get warmer and they get different and more complex. Welcome back. So what do you have in your glass now? You've got some.
Yeah,
weird
I was going to ask you. You've got it's a cocktail glass. It's a
G-Money and
whiskey
special
glass.
sauce.
Yeah, so we started a new cocktail program here where we pre-batch everything and then bottle it. So for those of you who aren't in the space right now, which is everyone listening, We can fit 185 people for fire code, inside, and 135 outside.
135 outside.
Wow,
really?
I would not have thought that high out there.
So
interesting.
if you've ever been to a cocktail bar, you know that their seating is like 30 people.
Yeah.
Because to do cocktails, it takes about 3 minutes a cocktail. That's like a good industry average. If we took 3 minutes to get someone their goddamn drink, there would be a fucking riot here every Saturday.
That sounds about right.
So we hit upon this thing. Scott Hadley, our bar manager, had done this program elsewhere in his career and said, hey, this works out really well. We're doing like high volume service, simple cocktails, and this is the way that we're going now. And it's been working. And we're on week 3 now, I think, and it's great.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we're able to have... so prior to this, we only basically had gin and tonics.
Right.
Or vodka tonics.
Quick, simple, easy.
Quick,
yeah.
simple, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Or vodka, well, whatever. So now we have 5 actual cocktails, including like a Corpse Reviver, including a couple of different things like a Moscow Mule that we include our Assemble Ginger Lime Saison on.
Oh, cool.
So 2 of them are beer cocktails.
Right.
And then the one is still a gin and tonic, which is called Just a Gin and Tonic.
A Gin and Tonic.
It's just a Gin and
Is
Tonic.
it called Just a Gin and Tonic?
I'm pretty certain it is.
All right.
Actually, the full name is It's Just a Gin
It's
and Tonic.
Just a Gin and Tonic.
That's the proper
Like that,
name.
yes.
Yeah, and then we've got Threat Level Midnight. Utah Give Me 2. What else?
I'm trying to remember what the
wait
fourth
for it.
one is called.
Oh, it's Free Real Estate, which is a sparkling
It's
Negroni.
free real estate.
Yeah, it's a sparkling Negroni.
I don't get
But
that
it's
one
free
either.
real estate.
Yeah, what is that one from?
What is that from?
The
It's a
internet.
That was from the internet?
Yeah.
Ermagerd
I'll show you later.
No, it's from the, it's from the inner tubes.
The inner tube.
The inner tubes.
So I'm sure that you've probably asked Trevor where the names come from at some point in the
more or less,
podcast.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere along our history.
We've probably asked him the same question like 5 times. We don't remember, man.
So, like I said, for the first 8 months, I did all the tours here.
Yeah.
And one of the common questions, and I still do a lot of tours here.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that we constantly get is where do you get your names?
Right.
And the answer is always, we do the same thing that you do. We go home and we drink and we watch Netflix.
Yeah. And we quote things and
fuck around on Reddit.
Yeah.
And
pick up
that's
the
how we
beers.
get our names.
Yeah.
And we all text each other. And so someone was like, yeah, but where is that from? I'll never forget this. Where is that from? I was like, well, Al Gore in 1996 invented a series of tubes that are connected.
Just listened to a whole podcast. Well, not about that, but a podcast that included where that came from about Al Gore said he invented the internet.
But yeah, so I get to pull that
I'm
out
sorry. Are
occasionally.
you disputing that?
I'm not just. Yes.
Empirically,
believe
though,
that.
have
I
you
believe
met
you.
Al Gore? He definitely
Have
invented
you
it.
met Al Gore?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Where? When?
Don't
Why?
worry about
How?
it. Okay,
Dude,
so
we go for drinks every other week.
Really? I guess he's not doing much these days.
I mean, he's not being president. We know
that's
that much.
true. He's not being president.
I met Al Gore on the campaign trail, whatever that was, 6? No, not 6.
99?
Yeah, 2000,
2000. Yeah.
yeah.
So 18 years ago,
Yeah.
like I said.
18 years
Yeah.
ago.
So I was a younger man, a few years and a few beers ago, and
Younger, wiser, on a lot more hallucinogens.
I was never mind. But yeah, so on the campaign trail, doing one of those stump things, town hall sort of meetings.
You shook his
and,
hand and he said, I invented the internet.
Well,
He looked you in the eye and you saw the sincerity.
and that's the story of
And
how I
that's
met
it.
Al
And
Gore.
then that's... Wait.
And that's how I met your mother.
Forget the trombone.
But hanging chads.
French horn. It was a French horn. Damn
I
it.
was going to say it was a fucking blue
Shit.
French horn.
It was a
Dan.
French horn.
Come on. Get in the game.
Sorry, what's a blue French horn? Where's the
It's
zip?
a French horn that's painted blue.
Okay, yeah, no. That thing
very
is-
self-explanatory.
the thing is the name.
That was
Yeah,
pretty
all right.
obvious, really.
The thing is the name. All right.
Yeah.
Did you think it was a sad French horn?
It would have been better.
Yeah. They only play slow jazz.
I'm a sad French horn.
I'm sorry.
depressed.
Have you mentioned the fact that Trevor's mic had to be
It needs a booster seat.
Yeah, it needs a booster seat.
To be fair, I feel like we should have done that to yours because you're leaning over a little bit.
We kind of felt a little bad because these chairs are kind of high, so we tried to lift that mic up a little more, and then you sat down and we were like, fuck this guy.
There you go.
G-Spot can bend over.
Oh, God. Oh, we're not touching that.
Thank you for the first time, Trevor, for not touching that.
Wow.
Ooh. All right, so 2 new beer names.
What are they?
Where did that come from?
Yep.
And we're not touching that.
I feel like sad French horn needs to be in there somewhere
Sad
too.
French horn.
I'm a sad horn.
It's got to be something with blueberries.
No one wants to be my friend.
What's the
All right.
next beer we should be
We're
drinking?
trying Asking for a Friend. It's number
12.
Nope.
B?
No. We're doing a different
sorry.
numbering thing here.
There's
Yeah,
only 26
it's
numbers.
number E.
Sorry, mere
Number
peasant
E.
here. Don't understand math.
So this is a wheat
You couldn't
IPA?
possibly because we're doing number E.
Oh, man.
So hashtag Asking for a Friend because no one does anything on their own anymore.
This is true.
I do have to leave because I am about 2 hours late for a
Yeah,
date
I
with my
was
wife.
wondering what.
Yeah.
I thought she was coming here to meet you.
She was, and then I
Garrett
told her
is-
that I was going to bump onto the podcast, and she was like, well, fuck that. I am going to go to the event that we should have been at 7.
Oh shit!
No, it's fine.
Send your
No,
wife
thank you.
our dearest apologies, of course.
Shout out to Meredith Megan Williams.
She's an incredible woman.
She recently quit her job as a brewer.
Oh shit!
Oh, I didn't know that. Breaking
Yeah.
news.
So,
Okay.
2 months ago, 3 months ago, time's a little whiffy. 2 or 3 months ago, she actually left her job at another local brewery.
Yeah.
And became a full-time business owner.
Really? Good for her.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Super awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely not stressful at all.
Yeah.
Super easy to just
Yeah,
move into not a consistent paycheck.
Paycheck, yeah.
Yeah, really nice. No, she's doing a fucking great job. I mean,
Good.
you guys have met her. She's
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
a stellar human being and crushing it. She knows more about beer than I do, and she will only know that if she listens to this podcast. That I've ever said that.
Okay.
The two of
Probably
you,
safe.
I feel like the two of you could conquer the world if you tried, and no one would argue.
Thank
Wow.
you. All right.
Wow. I'd vote for you.
All right, you heard it here first. Garrett Lee, 2020. Yeah, no, I mean, everything that we're doing, everything that we do is in interest of our own thing that we can't do without a buttload of money. And we don't want to get any investors. We want to do it ourselves.
Right.
That would be a BB&B.
A B.
Are we talking like
Bed,
bed,
like
breakfast,
breakfast,
and
beer,
brew.
brewery?
bees?
Oh,
bees.
yeah, sure.
Don't forget
Well,
bees.
yeah, so we could have a fourth B there.
The
but
B.
the idea is that
B&B.
you would come in,
And
you
B.
would stay at the B&B, and you would be able to have like one of our classes
Oh, so like a
and
okay.
have a dinner there at the B&B.
So like a homebrewed event
Beads.
bed.
Bees? Beads.
Bees.
on board.
How hard can it be?
That's
Christ.
the
We'll
fact
see
that you have that
you
queued
bring
up.
more honey.
It's still
This
going.
is what
Okay.
I was looking for earlier.
It's
still-
still
okay.
going. It's still going. I've made a
It's-
huge mistake.
47 seconds of bees. Bees.
Bees.
But yeah, so
That's cool, though.
That's the
Yeah,
idea.
that's
Is,
a cool idea.
is next year I'll be retiring. Don't tell Trevor.
All right. We won't.
And we'll be opening up a.
He literally has
B&B.
headphones on right now, and I don't think he heard you.
I still didn't.
Don't care.
don't care.
I don't matter here. I just generally manage.
Aw, you Garrett Lee
that is
managed.
your job.
Garrett Lee marriage. Yeah. I don't even know.
Garrett Lee, generally, Garrett Lee.
Garrett Lee.
I have to leave so that my wife will still talk to me tomorrow.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Thank
You
you
didn't want to
guys.
have a quiet Saturday?
Thank you guys both for having me on.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you for sitting down. Thanks for hanging out.
You spent far too much time with us. And,
We thought you were going to turn into a pumpkin like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually have to go do another event and help them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good luck.
It was Mr. White in the
Yep. Chug.
foyer. Is that a room
No, the
With-
conservatory.
It's pronounced foyer.
with the murder
Library.
weapon? Mr. White in the foyer with the murder weapon.
with the murder weapon.
Perfect.
All right, good. There you go.
The
Thank you,
murder
guys.
weapon? How convenient.
I know.
Mr. Man in the room with the murder weapon.
Gun, rope, murder weapon.
Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you.
Good night.
Garrett,
we love you.
And I guess let's move on to our last beer then.
Yeah. What is the last beer? At least the
What
last
is
beer
the
of
last
flight.
beer? This is Fly Like an Eagle.
There it is.
Hey.
Is this the original, the OG Fly Like
This
an
is
Eagle?
the OG.
All right.
This is the cherry version. So lactose, vanilla, and cherry.
All right. And I know what people are going to say. I know it. I know what people
What
are
are
going to say.
people going to say?
That, one, I know we always say we hate this kind of beer with the double IPA
Okay,
and everything.
wait a minute. Stop.
That we're-
Collaborate and listen.
I like this one a whole hell of a lot. And I promise it is not just because I am the world's biggest evil genius cheerleader.
You
I
are
promise
definitely the world's biggest evil
I
genius
promise you
cheerleader.
it is not because of that.
But that's fine because
It's
they
a damn
deserve
good
it.
beer. It is a phenomenal beer.
Hold on.
All right,
we
go,
we
go,
have
go, go.
shat all over hazy New England IPAs on this podcast.
Do it.
Many times, which is fine. But I feel like, and I know we've clarified this before, but I'm going to clarify it right now. It's not the specific beers. A lot of them I don't like. A lot of them I think are shitty. A lot of them I feel like taste like alcoholic orange juice with black pepper.
Sure.
Which is gross. A lot of them that I've had from breweries that I really like. What I don't like is that it's the only beer anybody wants to talk about or drink or buy, and it's like everything. When there's so many other good styles of beer, I feel like it's narrowing the spectrum of beer, which is part of the appeal of beer, is that there's so many different kinds of beer.
Sure.
So, end rant.
No, and I also feel like it's this year, and don't get me wrong, this isn't a this year thing. It's been 2-3 years now. But we've gone through this whole phase of different specific subcategories of IPAs being very popular.
Yeah.
We went through the black IPA phase. We went through the Belgian IPA phase. This is the one that, don't get me wrong, has clearly stuck around a little bit longer than some of the other ones have. And I think it's going to be a subcategory that is going to be something that people want to be able to go and find. But it's also a beer like you can't do this on a distribution level.
This is very true. Yeah.
It's just impossible.
You're not going to go buy a 6-pack of New England IPAs.
No.
Yeah. In bottles or whatever.
I love what we make with these beers, but I literally found in the back of my fridge a few weeks ago I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was Bruce Willis Was Dead the Whole Time.
Oh, wow.
Found it in the back of my fridge. I was like, and I just poured it out, and it looked awful because it was 4 months old.
Yeah.
Did you try it at all?
I did not drink it.
You
I did not
should've.
taste it. But it was like all of the yeast had clumped together, so it was like very clear, except for all these other weird floaties things happening everywhere. And that is not specific to Evil Genius beer. Anyone who's making that style of beer,
That's
if
what
it's
it does.
4 months
It's
old or 5 months old,
super
it's not going to
delicate.
be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is why, we say to people, when they buy us, please drink this soon. Don't save this. Or my dad is the worst for this because he lives back home in Dublin in Ireland, and I bring him beer anytime I go, or he takes beer back, and he'll text me I'm drinking this great beer of yours. I'm drinking this IPA from 6 months ago. I'm like, dude, why are you?
No,
He's
no,
like,
no.
no.
Please
Exactly.
don't.
Yeah. And he's like, it tastes great. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Number one,
You're
And
fucking
two, can you-
lying.
And so when I went home for his birthday last month, I was brought him beer. I was like, okay, so these ones you have to drink in the next month.
Yeah.
You have to drink them. The other ones you can save if you really want to do that, but you have to drink these ones because he wants to kind of eat them out until he gets to come here and see me next.
Right.
Right,
And I get
right.
that.
When I worked Brewer's Plate with Luke,
Yeah.
he gave me a 4-pack of, oh my God, it was the Apricot Milkshake IPA.
Yep. Oh my God. We were on a break.
Thank you, yes. And I accidentally left a can of that for I don't know, 3 weeks, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And I opened it and I went to pour it and it looked just not great.
Were you with us at Steph's place when we cracked open the heady topper that was 11 months old?
No, but I wish I was.
It was
Oh, God.
so awful. And that was the OG, back in the day.
Yeah.
They were doing this soft delicate, hazy, sort of pale ale
man.
style, and that's why it's called New England. And so, like, this was even before it was like a huge craze, but yeah, like it really is. If you wait, like, it just turns into absolute shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's why, like, don't get me wrong, these beers taste amazing when they're fresh.
Yeah.
But the moment they're not fresh, ours included, along with everyone else's, as we've just described, that's why you need to drink them.
Yeah, it's just true of the style overall.
Yeah, it is, and you know, I get annoyed with the style for the same reason I get annoyed with pumpkin beers, because it's like all of a sudden everybody's going super crazy. I don't like that sort of like flash in the pan, have to go wait in line for 5 hours for this can,
right?
Sort of mentality. I want to drink beer that's like, it's beer and it's made by people who care about beer, and it's made like the traditions of beer that have been around forever.
Yeah.
And and this is good. Like, I like this, and I like the one we had earlier, but I don't know. It's not the beer itself. It's like the concept of what it means.
And I
to
get
the
that as well. And that's why, like,
culture.
you know, I mean, we don't send beer like that out there for people who, like, we tell people we prefer you drink this fast or soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one, as we were talking about earlier, like, every time I taste this beer, it just reminds me of the parade day. Because I just had a backpack full of this beer, and every time I taste it, it just reminds me of that. And I think it always will, and I love that. Like, it's a great, and that's what's so awesome about, like, we've talked in other times about, like, how music can throw you back into a specific thing. It's awesome that beer can do that too. Yeah, a taste of a beer can throw you back into a specific time and place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What was the first beer that got you guys into craft beer?
Hop Devil.
I don't know what mine was.
Mine was definitely
I
Hop
really
Devil.
don't.
Victory Hop Devil.
Mine was Magic Hat number 9, which most people are like, that's not a craft beer.
No, you know what? Mine might have
But
been
it
the
was.
same, to
It
be
was,
honest.
This is 2008.
Yeah. There's Bud Miller Coors. It was Yingling. Yingling
I
was
drank exclusively Yingling Lager for years.
Right. That was the first thing that showed me that beer could have flavor.
Right.
Bud Miller and Coors were kind of, at the time, flavorless. Like, to this day, I'll drink them if I'm out and around doing whatever, but craft beer, Magic Hat number 9 is the first that I remember. I'm sure there was something else before
I was
it.
really into Blue Moon when that first came out. I mean, it's a crafty beer, you know, a pretend craft beer from InBev, but it's not a bad beer.
You know, it was probably something from Victory. I'm not sure what, but it was probably a Victory
I mean,
beer.
around here,
Right.
Victory or Stouts. Actually, Scarlet Lady was another early one for me. That's a really
From
good beer.
Stouts, yeah.
The Irish Red,
Yeah.
it's really nice. Yeah.
There was also, the first time I had Golden Monkey, I remember vividly to
Blacking
start.
out.
Yeah, exactly. We were at,
I remember vividly blacking out.
we were at PYT, and it was...
It's a great beer. But
it's a phenomenal beer.
It's
I
a
love
big
it.
beer.
We were at PYT, and I didn't know what it was. It was on special for that. I was like, yeah, we'll get a picture of that. And then we had another one. Before I knew it, I was gone. It was done. We were at trivia night for, like, President's Day or something. And I had to sober up laying down in the backseat of my friend's car before I even thought about going home.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been there, man.
We spent like $12 on 2 pitchers.
Yeah.
And there were 3 of us. We were done. That was a dumb idea.
Can I just say, I feel like we're starting to drift into last call territory.
I think we are too, yeah.
This feels like the last call kind of
No,
stories.
you're right.
So maybe we should wrap up the episode
Yes.
proper. Leave a little teaser for the non-patrons.
Yeah, man.
If you want to hear more bullshit like this, sign up to become a patron on patreon.com/beerbusters.
And there will be more bullshit like this.
There will absolutely
definitely be more bullshit like this.
If you've learned nothing from the Evil Genius episodes in the past, is there's a lot of just
Bullshit.
shenanigans. I was going to say shenanigans, but yeah, there's some bullshit involved.
And our very first episode of Last Call, and the one from this episode is going to be like 35 or 36. Our very first episode of Last Call was here.
Did you
really? I did not know that.
Over there in that
Yeah.
corner.
Did you fact check that?
No, I know it because I
Was it? Well,
Yeah, it was.
hey, I'll trust you. I take your word
I
for
fact checked it in my brain, man.
it. It's got to be true then.
But yeah, we talked about Tired Hands Taco Beer. Kevin Keller was on. Who's
Oh,
a
Kevin
bitch.
Keller.
He's a little bitch, and I'm going
Right,
to talk
yeah.
about that in Last
You're
Call.
only saying that
And you
because
know
he
what?
said
That-
he hates specifically you out of all of us.
I know.
Do you know that little bitch is getting married next week?
I know. Oh,
Next week already? Oh, shit.
Next Saturday. Like, it's 8 days from now.
Jinx, you know what that is?
Amazing.
Really is. So,
Nice.
So if you want to find Evil Genius on the internet, just Google Evil Genius Beer, evilgeniusbeer.com.
So your social media is on
to
point.
die for.
It is on point. The Instagram stories, especially like right after Gritty was announced. Good fucking God. All my friends at work were like, "Oh my God, did you see Evil Genius?" I was like, "Trust me, I saw it, and it's beautiful." Yes.
Twitter and Instagram, Evil Genius Beer. Facebook, Evil Genius Beer Company. Check out, Hello Inspire, to learn more about Inspire
Yes.
and the wind energy and all that cool stuff.
What I also love about the whole .com era is you guys own evilgenius.beer.
Oh, yes.
That's your
we do.
website.
Yeah,
That is your
right.
website.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But yeah.
We're still kind of old school. We have a .com, beerbusterspodcast.com.
Beerbusterspodcast.com.
And don't forget, of course, Instagram, Twitter, at Beerbusters. Facebook is Beerbusters Podcast. Patreon.com/Beerbusters. Trust me, you want to listen to Last Call. It's
really do.
as little as $1 a month. You want to listen to this. You need to listen to this. Throwing it out there right now.
Also, we just want your money.
There's also that, but like, there's good content. 805-991-BEER, 805-991-2337. That's right.
Yeah. And on that note,
that unfortunately brings us to the end.
Moving on.
Of another episode of Beer Busters. And it's so loud in here I can't quite hear this, but I'm just going to assume that it is working because the countdown's going. It's been too long since we've been here. As a podcast. I mean, It's been not so long since I was here as a patron. But, obviously, Trevor, thank you so much.
Not at all.
We
love having you guys here anytime. You know that.
We love being
so
here.
much fun.
And it's incredible. You guys are our oldest brewery friends.
So sorry that Steph couldn't be here.
Yes. We'll be back.
Yeah.
And she'll be here. Thank you to Garrett, who's not here anymore. But I am Dan Baker, and yes, we are not joined by our co-host and brewologist. She's recovering, Steph Hefner. But, of course, the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker
is still here. No squids were harmed this time, my friend. We will see you next time.
Right in the G-spot.